boys are going to bring the heat today.
As the leader of the Booner pack, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, Lukas. It is Thursday, January 30th.
Big brain move.
And we are locked in. You know why? Because the Lions just found a new passing game coordinator. We'll break that down today. Cade Cunningham's an all-star. We're talking to Eric Vincent later in the show. Covers the Detroit Pistons. Lots to get to. I also saw a rumor, too. Ben Johnson might have been picking out his staff.
Oh, my gosh.
Saw that as well. So lots of things to get to. It'll be a good one. How we doing, boys?
Feel good. I'll say this. I was MIA all day today. Outside of the David Shaw news, I had no clue that the Ben thing. This just coming across my desk now. Yeah, I was MIA today. And shout out, I got to see one of my favorite artists of all time. Checked off my list today. Unbelievable moment for Booner.
Come on now, Boone. Come on.
Lil Wayne. Tucci. I got to see the Young Money staff.
Baby.
I was like sitting on the side, basically almost like backstage. I was just sitting there. I'm just watching this Young Money staff just set up, and I'm like, this is the best day of my life. It was sick. So yeah, Tucci.
Best day of your life, Boone. Give it that.
It was up there, dude. It's up there, top 5 moment. Okay. I enjoy concerts. I'm not like the most like outgoing at concerts unless maybe I'm having having a couple drinks. But like it's just the best, dude. You guys know my top 5 in music. I was thinking about it today. I know we're not. Let's move on. I'm sorry. I'm getting into music talk. We don't need to do that. I know we want to talk ball. People are here to listen to the ball. Well, Lil Wayne top 5 for Boone. So I got to see Lil Wayne today. So I'm juiced right now.
Good day, Boone. It's a good day.
And I saw Diplo. Weird.
Dante, appreciate you for being a member. He writes here, golf just dropped 44 points for the NFC. Awesome. Yeah, I did see that. I didn't even know the Pro Bowl was going on. Like, that's the importance of the Pro Bowl.
Oh, I was going to bet on it. It's a long day for Boone. Wow.
Yeah,
I was going to bet on
the Pro Bowl? Is that?
Dude, you could bet on like you could bet on the what is it called? All the competitions. You can bet on the ball where you throw it at each other. Dodgeball.
You are rattled right now, my lord.
Dude, I mean, today was one of the better days of my life. Lil Wayne, dude. You guys know my top 5. Lil Wayne is he's top 2. He's not 1, but he's top 2. So I feel good. And Diplo, Diplo, dude. He's like a legend. It was just like Diplo. I got to see. It was just a weird day for Boone. Great day though.
Glad you had a good day. I'm glad you had a good day, Boone.
I'm buzzing.
That's good. Hey, a lot of stuff going on. One of those things I mentioned when I started the show, and Dennis Allen had his press conference, talked to the media, and he let this out. Just a little nugget. Dennis Allen, and this is from a Bears account. Dennis Allen beginning his first press conference as Bears defensive coordinator. Dennis Allen said Ben Johnson reached out to him towards the end of the season to gauge interest in pairing with the first-time head coach. So he reached out to Dennis Allen towards the end of the year to see, hey, if I leave, you want to be my defensive coordinator. And like, this is why, man, like as much as I understand, like I get you have a bye week, or if you're off during the week, they allow candidates to interview. Like I understand the combine after the Super Bowl, the combine's in like 2 weeks, like everything moves quickly. I understand that. We got to find a way here to where guys interview after the Super Bowl. Like we have to at least, or something to where guys aren't interviewing or busy trying to assemble a staff in the midst of a playoff run. Like I don't, and even like end of the season, like I get it. And sometimes we complain about things and we don't necessarily have the solution. I don't have the answers. All I'm saying, it's ridiculous that guys can interview, like Kellen Moore interviewing on this week. Like, it's a week away. Can we just save all this shit for after the Super Bowl? Maybe that's where I'm at with it. I don't know where you guys are at, but dude, I hate it's not just because the Lions lost. I'm just talking universally. Like, I just think it's dumb, in my opinion. Like,
yeah, I put out a video on Twitter, and I honestly, if you guys go look back, look at the comments, got a lot of hate. I think I had like 100,000 views, or it was a big video, and it was basically me being like what is Ben Johnson like if he is out here? And you know what too, Jeff, that really bothers me. And this is another one of those things where it's he gets a head start because Dan doesn't know he's for sure leaving, and Ben knows he's leaving. So Ben's sitting out there, and he is mid-season, end of season, still playing. He is out there assembling his staff, and that's where it's like, is there an echo, boys? Do you guys hear an echo?
No, I think good, bro.
No, you're good.
All right, maybe on my headset's echoing. I don't know. But like he's assembling his staff while Dan's still focused on the team. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. They're trying to do this, and that's where it's like I put the video out, and a lot of people came at me and were saying, "Oh, Booner, you're an idiot. You're an idiot." People do this all the time. That you shouldn't be able to. And I know this. Like, dude, I've been in the college coaching ranks, and I've seen things work with coaches and different things like that. And at the end of the day, like, to me, it's just like, wait till the season's over, and then you can have discussions. You were under contract for this season. You finish the season out. You can do interviews. You can assemble your staff. You have time to do all of that. You have an off season to do that. I do think there's a sense, and I know people are probably going to be like, "Oh, Lions fans complaining again." No, it's just you are committed to a football team to win a Super Bowl, correct? Like, you have a contract to do that. If you want to go take an opportunity, so be it. Wait till the season's over. Like, don't hurt this team's success so you can have success in the future, knowing you're probably going to an NFC North rival. Like, that's where it bugs me a little bit. That a little just on the side. And the same thing too, Jeff, it's the Dennis Allen thing. It's, hey, he just got a head start on Dan Campbell to get Dennis Allen. And he kind of locked Dennis Allen in, it seems like, pretty early, to where Dennis Allen, I mean, these guys, they go by their word. Maybe Dennis told Ben, like, yep, I'm locked in with you. And Dan didn't even have a chance at him. Like, there are those senses, and that's just a bad move in my opinion. I don't like it. There needs to be a rule in the NFL. It's one of the rules where I think you should change, finding a way to make coaching hirings post Super Bowl at the end of the day. I don't care if it was a bye week or not, but you have to figure something out.
Yeah, I'm with you, boys. Not much to add there.
Yeah,
Judas.
It's
Ben Johnson is football Judas.
Yeah, he's football Judas. Yeah, I hate it personally.
It's a hiccup in the rule. You're starting to see it a little bit.
And honestly, I mean, today, the bombshell of David Shaw just like it confirms Tanner's exit, which we discussed this week, how it's more than likely he's going to take that Jets job, and the hire of David Shaw officially confirms that. Detroit Lions are hiring David Shaw as their new passing game coordinator, per Tom Pelissero. Last season, actually, Shaw, because he was with Stanford for a while, actually set like records as a coach there, did some special things, and then departed after like 2, 3, and 9 seasons. And then last year, he was the senior personnel executive for the Denver Broncos. And obviously, John Morton was with the Broncos as well. There's a connection there already. And guys, like when I first saw the notification, I've seen David Shaw kind of float around. I mean, there's talks of the Bears interviewing David Shaw as well to be their offensive coordinator. And Ben pivoted and went with a younger guy. But I think this hire is a home run. And we texted in our group chat, like, I love this hire. As much as I love Tanner, and it's sad to see him go, this is like the perfect replacement for a lot of reasons. And it tells me with John Morton and David Shaw, they have a much more experienced offensive staff. That's what this is telling me right now. I mean, you have John Morton, who's been coaching in the league for a while, been around a lot of offensive minds, and David Shaw, who's been in college for a while, but actually has been an NFL coach before. He's with the Ravens. I think the last time he was in the NFL was like 2005 is with the Ravens. So he's been coaching for a long time. He's always been a bright dude offensively. Like, I mean, he's worked under Harbaugh in different spots. Harbaugh's always took David Shaw with him.
John Gruden.
And John Gruden, like, he's worked under great offensive minds as well. And he was the offensive coordinator, obviously under Jim Harbaugh with Andrew Luck with Stanford, and then took over as head coach at Stanford. So again, guys that just understand offense, and someone that, like a David Shaw, has worked with Andrew Luck, had a good relationship with him. Everywhere he's gone, they've had explosive passing attacks, explosive offenses, understands concepts. And again, like, as much as we like Tanner's potential, you're getting someone who's been there, who's done that, who's, I mean, in terms of designing passing concepts, been doing it for years, and also has ties to the city. His dad coached the DBs here in Detroit in the 80s. So he actually went to school here, high school here, and now he returns to be the Detroit Lions passing game coordinator. So, hey, the Bears didn't hire him. The Lions get him. It's a hell of a chess move. I love this hire. And to be honest, guys, I think this, and I don't want to talk like this because we don't want to plan for any type of failure.
Oh, I know what you're going to say because I was going to, yeah, I know exactly what you're going to say.
But it's like, if anything were to happen with John Morton,
yeah.
You got David Shaw waiting, who's called a ton of plays before. So I love the hire, fellas. I do. Love it.
Klotz, I'll let you go because I have a video to go when I go here. I want to play a video
when I saw David Shaw was hired, and again, I know we've been talking about it, but I was like, okay, I'm breathing a lot of fresh air right now because David Shaw obviously hasn't been proven that much on the NFL level. But if you look at what he did in college and the players that he developed, amount of players he sent to the NFL during his time at Stanford, I love what he's going to be able to do with this offense in the passing game. Specifically, I think obviously you can go with Jared Goff and the wide receivers, but I'm really excited to watch is bring up Andrew Luck, who he coached in college, but who else did he coach in college? Christian McCaffrey. And you really watch Christian McCaffrey turn into an absolute weapon at the running back spot, both running the ball, but what he did in the passing game as well. So what he's going to be able to do with Jahmyr Gibbs, Jared Goff to balance his offense, not only through the passing game, but what he does in the passing game, the screen games. I think we're going to see more Jahmyr lined up in the slot, hopefully. But I do think he gives you that dynamic where you can trust him because you look at just what he's done. He has that resume. My whole thing with John Morton was, okay, he hasn't been able anywhere really consistently, and he hasn't developed anything consistently. With David Shaw, now it kind of gives you that security blanket like you boys was just talking about, where it's, okay, I've seen David Shaw coach collegiately, both as an offensive coordinator, a head coach, a passing game coordinator, run game coordinator. So he's seen it at a high level, and he's been able to do it with NFL type of talent, obviously in the Pac-12. But again, he's produced a lot of NFL players through his time coaching. So development-wise, I trust David Shaw completely being the passing game coordinator. And to your point, guys, if John Morton doesn't work out, I think you do have a security blanket like we just brought up.
Yeah, I mean, hey, boys, Klotz, you guys hit it spot on. This is one of those things with Dan where we mentioned a lot with Dan. Hey, how is he going to do hiring a new staff? I think I brought it up to Jeff. I can't remember who I talked to about this, but especially with like this the positional group staff, we had the conversation where it was like, hey, after Dan's first hires, every time he's had to fire a guy or move on from a guy, he has had a home run hire after that. And that's what it feels like with like a David Shaw. Like the OC, DC, that's still up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with the John Morton, Kelvin Shepard. Like we hope it works out. We don't know. But like the defensive line hire, now the pass game coordinator, like boys, and I haven't seen this on Twitter yet, and I don't think people realized it. David Shaw earlier this month interviewed for the Chicago Bears head coaching position. The head coaching job, like over with Ben Johnson. Like it wasn't like he was just like he's a normal. He interviewed for the head coaching position, and then after he didn't get that job and Ben got it, Ben interviewed him for the OC position. He got brought back for the second interview to be the OC. So this is a guy that's like wanted in locker rooms around the NFL. People love him. Like this isn't just like a normal guy. You didn't get him as your OC. You could make an argument, boys, that he should be your OC and John Morton should be Pat. Like you can make that argument. Like it's not crazy to be like, hey, David Shaw should be your OC. Like he has interviewed for OC job. He interviewed for a head coaching job in this month. And you just hired him as your pass game coordinator, not just for the year, but on a multi-year deal. So like Dan Campbell went out there, massive win. And then as I'm looking at like I'm driving home today to do the show. I come across this video, boys. And this, like, if people aren't sold on the David Shaw hire yet, or don't think this guy is going to make an impact in this locker room, I came across this video. Rich Eisen, boys.
Go.
As soon as in this video, let me put it in context. This was 3 weeks ago. This wasn't like, hey, it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when Shaw was at Stanford. No, this was 3 weeks ago when he was interviewing for the Chicago Bears job. Jeff, if you want to play this video.
You can get an offensive guy who's also a CEO, who I think would be a terrific fit. Who's the guy that I have been saying from this chair over and over and over again, that if I was running an NFL franchise, I would hand the guy a check and say, put the amount in it. and you are my guy.
You've said it for years.
Yeah, years.
And did you see who because I believe he's with the Broncos organization right now in a capacity.
Senior personnel exec.
Yep.
David Shaw.
Yeah, you love David Shaw.
I love David Shaw.
I'm talking like 5 years now. You've been even longer than that. You've been saying
love David Shaw. Big time. The guy has got NFL experience with multiple staffs. Ravens being the one that just leaps out at you off the screen. A builder of programs. A terrific face to put out into the community. Handling the media. A steady hand. Somebody who doesn't just go nuts, but has an intensity about him. God, I think he would be great for the Chicago Bears.
Boys, listen, you might not like David Shaw. Rich Eisen is one of the best football minds in the world. He's been around the game a long time. That man literally sat up on his desk 3 weeks ago, said, I'll hand David Shaw a blank check to be the head coach for my franchise if I was running a franchise. He said he would give him a blank check to be his head coach. Dan Campbell just got him as his pass game coordinator. This might be one of the best hires of the whole coaching cycle, to be honest. I'm just going to be quite frank, boys. I think this is like, if you look at the staff, like I'm pumped up. And you know, one thing too, I think Dan's doing, or actually I will finish the David Shaw thing because I have a theory on Dan Campbell whenever you guys want to move on from this. I have a theory.
Yeah, it's really good insurance, man. Like it's good insurance. Obviously, I'm sure Dan has full faith in John Morton, but you want guys in that room that are just experienced.
Yep.
That you can rely on. Like I'm sure, I mean, especially David Shaw, the experience he's had working with Andrew Luck, who, you know, prematurely retired, but was on pace to be an all-time great. It's going to be great for a guy like Goff. Like you're surrounding him with guys that just are experienced offensive minds. And I think my hope with this offensive staff is they're going from more of a youthful, young offensive staff to more of a mature, experienced staff. Like, and I know we talk about it like younger guys, bright offensive minds. Like I understand that, but the benefit of having older guys, experienced, I'll use that word, just in case I offend some people, but experienced coaches is situationally. I think that's where the Lions are going to benefit the most from having a David Shaw, a John Morton, like guys that have seen a lot more football and been a part of things, even though maybe the resume, like, you know, we talk about the historic offenses now the last couple of years. Like I understand that. I think, listen, losing Ben is going to be tough, but I think what helps is having guys that have seen a lot. And David Shaw has seen a lot, like coaching players, like you mentioned, Christian McCaffrey, Andrew Luck, John Morton, being around all the offenses he's been around. Like that's where I think the benefit comes into play, is like the experience. And then Dan Campbell weighing in on this offense. So my hope is situationally with this new offensive staff, that's where they'll improve because of experience.
I think we'll see a lot more of a pro style offense too, because when you look at it too, like who else did David Shaw? Had Zach Ertz, and who we have in Detroit, Sam Laporta. And when you look at it, he did like they threw the ball. Like when you have Andrew Luck, you're going to throw the ball, but they relied heavily on running the ball. He had 2 Heisman candidates at the running back position. So something that I'm it's very like, can't see it, but what I'm interested in what they try to do with the philosophy of this team is maybe if they stop trying to be, or they're going to stop trying to be a big shot, explosive offensive driven team, and pro style offense. Let's win this game defensively. Let's try to switch the identity. We've been really good with the offensive leading this team, but if we can switch to a pro style offense where there's very little mistakes, very little room for error, and we're just a heavy, solid defensive team, it almost kind of seems like that's where the identity of this team's rolling. Because when you look at what happened when the Chiefs started losing coaches, they started losing Tyreek Hill. They were still the Chiefs, but they switched to a defensive team. Look at the Chiefs now. They're a defensive team. When you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, they were good as an offensive team, but when they're a defensive team, that's when they win championships. So I'm interested to see if they kind of switch their philosophy a little bit. Obviously still be a good offense, but make the defense identity of this team.
Yeah, and I don't think too. I agree, disagree with you, Klotz. Like I still think like you don't want to just take away the offense that you have. Like you have explosive players with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jameson Williams. You don't want to take them out of the game. And it's like you'd be like, well, you want to take a little less away from offense. Like, no, like you've seen what this offense can do. And why, like, yeah, build defensively, and then why not still have the same offense you've had the last 3 years, top 5 level? Like, that's what you want to keep. You don't want to just take a back seat just so defensively you can. But I truly do believe that, like, Dan's looking at this a little differently offensively, and I don't think it's more so just, hey, like before it might have just been Ben Johnson. It might have just been like, hey, Ben, run your thing. I think now it's like, hey, this is going to be a group effort. I think Dan did have a little bit of a say in at the beginning years of Ben Johnson, and I think Dan's getting back to that, and he's going to be there with John Morton and David Shaw and Scotty Montgomery and Hank Fraley, who's the run game coordinator. Like, think about that, boys. Like, that's the staff running your offense. As much as we loved Ben Johnson, that staff right there is not bad at all. Like, they're going to still be a top 5 offense. Like, the signing today, and then knowing Hank's coming back, and knowing you still have Scotty, and knowing John Morton's worked with Dan and worked with those guys before, and that whole staff, I'm very confident this is a top 5 offense still because of the weapons. Like, I keep hearing all week when it comes to coaches all around the NFL and in the interviews and stuff, people just keep bringing up the one. It's like the one common denominator. It's doesn't matter the coaches you have to have the personnel. You have to have the players. That's all that matters in the league. And yes, when you get into the games, yes, there are schemes, there are plays. At the end of the day, I heard Bill Belichick say it with less than 24 hours ago. He could do whatever he wants to help you win. You need the players. The Lions have the players. They have one of the best offenses on paper in the NFL. Now they have the guys to help them out. And my kind of theory with this too, boys, and maybe this is just a wild thought, and Jeff, you kind of alluded to it a little bit. I think Dan's kind of, and I know he hired Kelvin Shepard, a rookie DC, but even like, Casey Rogers coming in, like, you have some experienced guys. I think losing the last 2 years, I'm not saying hit a toll on Dan, but I think Dan's looking at it and saying we need it. Like, if Ben and AG are moving on, 2 first-time coordinators over the last few years, if they're moving on, I need to get guys in here who know how to win, who have been in the league and can help us win a Super Bowl. Like, we have to take that next step. And seeing the way he's built this offensive staff, whether it's keeping guys or getting rid of or bringing new guys in, it feels like it's like he is very serious about wanting to win a Super Bowl. He is locked in, bringing in Casey Rogers, who has won in Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl, know what it takes to do it. Like, I think Dan has that mindset this offseason. Like, we have to put one of the best staffs together in the NFL. And that's why I think, Jeff, that's why I think maybe he didn't go Tanner. Is I think he knows, like, at some point we need to have some experience in these rooms to be able to lead the guys to win a Lombardi trophy. And if we just keep, and this is, I was thinking this on my drive home, like, if they just keep getting rookie guys, and then they keep losing in the playoffs because it's inexperience, tough play calling, this, that, then you're sitting there and you're like, man, we could have just brought some vets in, some guys who have been to the Super Bowl, some guys who have been able to win games, and we learn. So you have to, like, I think that's part of the reason that he's built the staff he's building right now. And I'm starting to really, honestly, boys, I'm starting to really love the staff. I really am. I know it's like the question mark with John Morton's probably the big one, but I even think with the pieces, again, that you've put around John Morton, I don't see a world he's not successful at the end of the day. You have the players and you have the coaches around you. There's no reason to be, there's no excuse, zero excuse.
I mean, David Shaw's coached. I mean, talking about the in the NFL, he's coached in every game in some capacity, but the Super Bowl, he's coached in AFC championship games. He's coached in playoff games. Like, he's coached in, I mean, he has a ton of experience. Like, to that point, I think that's what it is. Like, I don't think Dan wanted 2 rookie coordinators, which makes sense. Like, why in a year like this? I understand that. Now, I thought it'd be on offense than defense, but the point still stands. You don't want to have 2 rookie coordinators going into a year where you have to win now. So at some point you got to get some experience. And now they have guys that, again, have coached on big stages. Now, like, John Morton's more just for experience, but like David Shaw has he has the resume, and he has, like you said, Klotzy, like, proofs in the pudding, who he's developed, who he's worked with. Like, they both obviously have worked under Jim Harbaugh, and David Shaw has actually called plays with Jim Harbaugh,
I wonder, like, what the mindset was there, like, making Morton the OC instead of David Shaw. Like, maybe it was timing. But when I just look at that, like, when you look at the resumes, you'd think that, I mean, David Shaw, without a doubt, is more qualified. But I don't know if they were like, here's your break, Johnny. Here's your break.
To be honest with you, my theory on it, to be honest, would be simply the familiarity with the offense. I think that's where, like, David Shaw does not have any. David Shaw's going into this, like, obviously the guy understands offense. Like, he's going to get this thing pretty quickly. But I think John Morton has that advantage because he helped kind of construct the offense. He didn't call plays, but he helped construct it. So there's that familiarity there. So I think that's where he would get the advantage.
What Dan said last week, the terms. Like, I want to make sure the terms are the same. I want to make sure the offense is the same. Scheme, everything's the same. Unless you went Tanner, John Morton was the only other guy probably in the NFL who truly knows this offense because he was part of building it. So it was him, Dan, and Ben. So you definitely can see that. That's what I would think. I think it's, dude, the fact that David Shaw was interviewing for the OC job and the head coaching job in Chicago, and then you snag him as your pass game coordinator, might be the funniest thing and the best thing of all time.
Hey, shout out to Phil. Just became a Crunch member. We appreciate you, Phil. Lions 57 said, did you know that David Shaw's Stanford team did the QB fake fumble play in 2016? Heard it on your old place. I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. David Shaw did the old fake fumble trick play?
Come on now.
Passing concepts.
I'm trying to see. Hold on. They'll
design some trick plays.
Who is?
But imagine a room, though, and David Shaw's in that room. Like, he's just a...
Feel better about it for sure. It's definitely not to the status. I think even when you look at losing Antoine Randall, losing Ben Johnson, the offense and defensive coaching staff is behind where it was last year, but it's not like it's a bottom 15 coaching staff in the NFL. I still think with Dan Campbell at the helm, with not a lot of them, but some crucial coaches, Hank Fraley, Mark Brunell, you bring in a guy like Casey Rogers, Deshae Townsend's still there. Calvin Shepard obviously being promoted. It's still a top probably half of the league coaching staff as of right now, and they'll probably progress to be better. So I like what they're doing so far. I'm not in love with it, but I like it a lot.
I love Klotzy. He's just one of those wait and see. I just gotta wait and see. Gotta see.
We can't. If we're gonna be honest here, and you would have told me that Kelvin Shepard and Johnny Morton were the OC and DC. You could like it, but you're not in love with it. Like, I would love
again,
I would love a young offensive mind. I like it, but there's still a lot of unprovens there. Like, with the experience as far as NFL, being around the NFL is there, but the experience of these guys being in these positions before is not. So that's why I think there's definitely okay.
But again, that point, it's anyone, like if you would have got Tanner, experience at that position, not there. Like, to your point, it's like you wanted certain guys, but your reasoning of not liking these guys is exactly what those other guys you wanted were.
It's really the reasons that you keep bringing up is really only with Morton and not seeing it before. With Kelvin Shepard, I've seen it before.
The Kelvin one, I agree. We haven't seen it with Kelvin.
So it's like that's why I think it's hard to just be like, I love this play. These coaches that they hired, they're going to work out. Like, we don't know that. So there's going to be room for skepticism.
I'll tell you this, my inkling, based on what I've seen now with all the hires, they still got to get a wide receiver coach. So I don't know who that's going to be. That'll be interesting. But listen, if you want to be straight up, in my opinion, you downgraded at OC, but you upgraded at passing game coordinator. So you kind of like it. It's not quite even, but you're patching it together. You're getting it's a good offensive staff. Now, like, I got to see Morton call plays. That's my big thing. I just got to see him call plays.
No, if Scotty stays, and as well as like the fact, I think the fact that Hank Fraley's staying, I think I know again you downgraded OC, but I think those guys staying, they were probably going to leave no matter what. The fact that they're staying, I think that's like kind of an up. I know it's the same guys in there, but an upgrade to where like these guys are going to be potential OCs around the NFL. Hank had the interviews with Seattle, like that's huge. Like it's so big. That's why I don't think it goes down as much. I still think you're able to say, again, knowing now what the staff is outside of the wide receivers coach, I'm confident to say this is going to be a top 5 offense again because of the personnel and because the guys you filled out the coaching staff with. I'm like very confident I can say that. A week ago, like when John Morton was first hired, there was the questions a little bit. And, Tanner's leaving, there was the questions a little bit like, okay, things got to work out. But then once you get the Hank Fraley alert, once you get the David Shaw alert, you're like, okay, no, this offense is going to be just fine.
And that's the thing. You mentioned this earlier, Klotzy. You don't need a historical offense to win a Super Bowl. You don't. Mm-hmm. It's nice. It's awesome. But you just need a very good offense and you need a defense. And you mentioned that when you were talking, like not that this team will become just their defense. The defense will be their identity because I got to see this defense be good first. But to your point, If they win a Super Bowl this year, it's going to be because of what does the defense look like? Like the Chiefs got key stops late in the game on Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like you got to end up coming up with plays at some point, you know? So listen, as much as the offense, like we could talk about where they'll rank, we all agree they're still going to be good. Like I don't think anyone's arguing they won't be. Will they be historic? No, but they don't have to be. They just need the defense to be good. You know, and if the defense is good, you're getting to a Super Bowl. Like they'll be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They will be there. Even if like, let's say they regress. I know we hate using the word, but regress, but their offense goes to like top 5. Dude, they'll be fine. I just want to see this defense, man. That's my big thing. And I know there's a lot of pressure on Kelvin, but I think he can handle it.
I think it's pretty sure too. Like they're not going to be top 5 all time like they were this year. Like, that's not going to happen.
And that's okay. Yeah, they'll win.
Like, again, top 5 in the NFL history. Like, that happens once every 10 years in the league's history. So I'm confident that they stay top 5 in the NFL. Which, if you have that again, it's to Klotz's point. It's taken a step forward. Now to Klotz's point, where it's like, hey, you change the offense, you could take a step back. And now
I've never said change the offense. I'm saying, like, you see how many trick plays they run frequently. You see how many deep shots they take down the field.
Yeah,
lean on the strength of running the ball.
I understand that.
A true pro style offense. It seems like they're this hybrid offense where one game they're trying to kill you with speed and power, and one game they're trying to kill you with speed. Like, I think stick to an identity and rely on it. Obviously, when game plans come up, but like we see times when Jared Goff's throwing the ball 55 times, in other words, he's throwing 18. And it's good to be able to do that where you have that diversity. But now when shit hits the fan, it's like, okay, which mindset are we going to take in the playoff game? You could see, okay, we're running the ball really good with Jameer, but we got to throw the ball. And it's like they're stuck throwing the ball. It's like, no, hand the ball off. You can see that sometimes they forget their identity.
That makes more sense than what you said earlier, because earlier you said change the offense.
I'm saying change the identity of this team.
So I see what you're
when
saying.
You think of the Lions offense, I want to think of the Lions defense when I think of the Detroit Lions. When you think of the Chiefs right now, you think of Mahomes, but you think about a really good defensive team, the Eagles.
That's the comment that kills me, Klotz. That's the comment, because your offense is that good. Like you should have that good. That good,
but offensive-driven teams do not win Super Bowls. That's just a matter of the fact.
No, you can win a Super Bowl with an offense. To Jeff's point, your defense is top 10, but you have a top 5 offense at that level. Like you can have that. Like, that's how you're gonna. But like this team, it's like you're saying, like change the complete identity. Like no, this team right now, the better side of the ball is you're stacked offensively.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying don't make this offense not good. What I'm saying is, in my opinion, for the Detroit Lions to take that next step, turn this into a team that wins because of their defense. Obviously, injuries are going to take away if you don't have it. But there's this point where the offense was playing defense, and you even see it when they don't need to do that. Just stick to being a power football team. Use Amon-Ra, use J-Mo. But I think just lean in the identity instead of going half in, half out some games. You can see it. And that's where I think if you just lean into it, Chiefs, running football team. Eagles, running football team. The Broncos, who are good out of nowhere this year. Good defensive team, ran the football and play action. Like they were a true pro-style offense. I think, especially with Jared Goff, just run a true pro-style offense.
Hey, Rich Hustle, appreciate you. Thanks for the $10. Just sticking to an identity means other teams know how to attack you. We need to stay as unpredictable as possible so other teams never know what to expect. Yeah, I mean, ideally, we all agree. The offense, we all agree the offense will be better than the defense.
Mm-hmm.
We also agree that you're going to need this defense to take a step forward if they're going to win a Super Bowl. So, the offense is still going to be great. They have too many good players, man. You know what I mean? Like they do. Now, do I think they'll be as finesse as they were with Ben? I don't. I think we agree with that. I don't think it'll be as finesse with than it would.
Point. Be a power football team all the time.
Maybe the Johnny Mo show. Maybe he's got some things cooking up.
Some old school ball.
Maybe Johnny Mo. Maybe he's got Penei Sewell. Run it back. Him throwing passes. No, I could care less for the trick play. Like they're awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sound like that guy that like the trick plays now all of a sudden I hate him. They're awesome. They're fun. Like the hook and ladders were awesome. I think there's a time and place for it, but I don't like if Johnny Morton doesn't run a bunch of trick plays, I'm okay. Like I really don't. It's not the end of the world to me. Yeah. Wheezy D says it's not even finesse. They just got away from what was working too much. They weird. That's true too. I mean, let's not give Jameer 10 carries in a playoff game, please. But yeah, I also saw this too, fellas. More and more Lions players, Lions free agents are being rumored to the Jets. One of those guys, and it's not just the Jets. I wanted to bring this up because I've seen this from other outlets across NFL teams. Different, like we have John Macroon. You can check him out. Sports Illustrated, Detroit Lions on Sports Illustrated. Like different versions of that in different fan bases. I've seen the Jags. I've seen the Jets. These teams rumored to go after one Carlton Davis. That is the hot name. That is the man that a lot of teams are going to be interested in. Carlton is, you're looking at this free agency class with corners. He's up there. He's ranked as probably a top 3 corner available. There's going to be teams that throw money at him. So here's the thing. Number one, what's your feel on that, his potential exit? And number two, where do you pivot if he were to leave? So I'll say this. I would love Carlton Davis back. I would. Even though because it's really, here's the thing. He has leverage because although I'm worried about his inavailability, he's always missing a handful of games. I'm looking at what's out there, and I have a guy who just played last year in this system. And now you have a defensive coordinator that has a similar mindset to the guy that just walked out the door. I'm sure Kelvin wants this man back as much as Lions fans do as well. So, and I'm sure Brad shares that. Dan shares that. So I think they want him back. Now, the thing is, what's the price tag? What's he going to command? What are the Jags going to throw at him? What are the Jets going to try and get him for? Now he gets to go play with AG again. Carlton, and Lucas brought this up earlier, Carlton's already won a Super Bowl. So in my mind, I wonder where his head's at as well. Like, I wanted to bring this up because in my mind, guys, I know it's early. It's January. We still have time till free agency. I think the likelihood of him leaving is it should not just be assumed he will return. That's where I'm at. I would like to have him back, but you got to have a plan B in free agency because you can't go into next year with Terran Arnold and like some random cornerback 2. Like a solid guy. You got to go get a CB1 somewhere in free agency, and it seems like Carlton's that guy. So we'll see what happens. But from what I read, fellas, he's going to be sought after, and it's not a given he'll be returning to the Detroit Lions. I do believe that.
I would say this. I think with Carlton, I think you have to make it a priority to get him back. Like I think it has to be number one in that defensive room. I just don't look like there are some corner free agents, boys. But like Carlton, it's not like the biggest free agent stacked class. And outside of Carlton Davis, like who are you really going to like be able to be like, yep, we can get him for sure. I think the fact that you already have him in the city, you already have him in the building, you need to find a way to make sure he comes back. And you need corner one. He's your corner one. And I think him coming off the injury, I don't care if he's already won a Super Bowl. I think that fact makes him be like, I want another one. And he knows he's in Detroit. He knows what this is about. All year long, Carlton has been an unbelievable piece on this defense, not just defensively, but like a voice in the locker room. He was like a leader on the defense all year long. Carlton, it needs to be a priority to bring him back. Like, yeah, you can go DJ Reed. I don't know who else is there.
Hold on.
Look, on this list right now, Jeff Okudah's listed as a 6th guy in free agency. I know that's money wise, but like there are obviously better guys, but it's not like the best stacked corner free agency class. So to me, it's like if you already have a guy in the building, you make sure that's your number one priority. Like I would rather have Carlton Davis than Zadarius Smith and go out and get another free agent edge rusher and draft an edge rusher. Like that would be my move if I'm Brad Holmes. That's what it is. And I don't know and someone just put it, well, how much is he? I don't know the asking price. It's probably going to be a pretty penny, but at this point, it's like you have to do it. To have your corner for the next year or two, you have to get the deal done. Terry Allen's not ready to be the CB1. He's just not. And you need to have competition in that room. We've been saying it all along.
Yeah, I'm with you, boys. I think you're preaching. Carlton, I think, is the most important free agent to bring back. If you want to make the argument for Kevin Zeitler, I'm not going to be mad at you, but with how strong that offensive line is compared to this cornerback room, I think there's a gap there. And to Booner's point, like this cornerback class is not strong. I mean, there's some solid guys there. There's Tre'Davious Ward, I think you could argue is the CB1, but DJ Reed, Byron Murphy, Rasul Douglas, Mike Hilton. Then there's a lot of slot corners this year. Lions are good on slots. They need to get people on the outside. So in my opinion, not only do they have to bring in Carlton Davis, but they got to bring back Carlton Davis. They have to bring someone else in because I'm tired. Sick and tired. Don't want to see it ever again of the NFC Championship game. The third, fourth, fifth string corner is going to be out there. If that's the case every year, so be it. But improve the talent. Put guys that can actually start out there. If you bring in a Carlton Davis, and I'm just using an example, a Darius Slay, that cornerback room, when you add in Terrion Arnold, Amik Robertson, hopefully Ennis Rakestraw can take a step forward, is so much better, and they have experience in playoff situations. That's the way that you're going to be able to get the way through the NFC because the quarterbacks aren't that good compared to the AFC. But now, hopefully when you're in the Super Bowl against Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, you name it, whatever fucking quarterback you want to name, you have the secondary to match up with those skill players. I think it's important for the Lions, coming out of the NFC, you're probably going to have the disadvantage at quarterback. You have to have the playmakers on the defensive side of the ball to level the playing field. So cornerback is a spot they have to nail, not once, not twice, not 3 times. They have to do a full rebuild on that cornerback room, and starting with it is Carlton Davis. So must bring back Carlton Davis, in my opinion. Will he sign? I don't know. That's the question. You brought up.
I think Carlton would, coming off an injury that he's had. Like I think he would. I do think he would.
I think he would too. I wonder what it would look like. That's the thing I'm super curious. Like we can play, like we can, talk about it, like how Brad's going to handle everyone. That's probably the one thing I'm super interested to see is like, how do you handle all these guys coming up down the pipeline? Like, I think that's going to be impressive. Because Carlton, let's say, because he's just coming off making 14. So you would assume that at this point, it's his last real deal. He's about to turn, what is he, almost 30? So this is like his last kind of dip before, he'll be probably a free agent 32, 33. Like he's not going to get as much money as he will now. So he's probably going to want a pay raise. So I would say 15, 16, maybe million he's probably going to want. I mean, I don't know where that would put him at corner. I should probably look that up, to be honest with you, what the highest paid corners are making. Not that he's going to be the highest, but I wonder what 15 or 16 would rank. That's probably the number he's going to want a little more. And I wonder how many years it would be for. That's the two things I'm super.
I'll take 2 or 3 years at that price. I'm good. Sign him.
Yeah.
Get the job done.
You have to get the job shorter the better, in my opinion. I know it's better to say it out loud than actually do it. To tell Carlton 2 years and he accepts it, but that'd be ideal. 2 years, awesome, because then you're not strapped when you have to pay other guys too. You can just let him roll, and then maybe hopefully when Terrion Arnold's ready, you can let him go, and you have Terrion Arnold.
But we don't even know when that is, so you have to hope.
You can't play the guessing game.
That's why I think it's like you have to go on Carlton. Like that was why you drafted 2 rookies, right? So you could pay another corner and you didn't have to worry about that. You have your other corners on a rookie deal for the next 3 years. It's a first round draft pick. You have him on a rookie deal. It's like you can afford at that position. Like if you're looking at how much money you have at each position group, you have 2 of your top 3 corners are rookie deals. And the other one's Kindle Vildor. So it's like move on from the Kindle, stay with Terrion and Ennis Rakestraw, and put that money towards Carlton for the next 3 years. And then you have that flexibility to do so, and you could still go out and get a 4th guy or a 3rd guy, depending on who you want to kind of be in there competing with Terrion. But like to me, it's a no-brainer. And I don't see a world where Carlton says no to a deal. If the Lions and Brad actually mentioned it in his press conference last week. It sounded like he was like him and Kevin Zeitler. He was like, those are deals that we want to get done. Like that's a priority in the offseason. So I don't know when the deals can get signed. I would hope like instantly, as soon as it opens up, boom, he announces I'm coming back to Detroit.
Yeah, like, and it's really the organization's like, why would you want to go play for the Jags or the Jets, man? Like you don't. Now the other corners that are available, you mentioned like there's DJ Reed. I'm looking at these top 10 corner free agents. I mean, you have DJ Reed, you have Tre'Davious Ward.
Yeah.
You have Rasul Douglas, Asante Samuel Jr., Byron Murphy, Mike Hilton, Stephon Gilmore. Like that's essentially the list.
Okay.
There's no
trade.
There's no one.
Cornerback one.
Yeah.
And maybe even make a trade to go get a corner 2/3.
That's how they got Carlton too.
Yeah, just to compete. You just keep Carl, but like I'm saying, like you sign Carlton and then make just a trade for like a guy to compete with Terrion. That's what I would do, honestly.
I'm surprised Asante Samuel Jr. isn't already signed. I don't know what.
They probably just because with Brandon Staley, that was just completely incompetent, but he's their best defensive back. I'd say, like, I know Derwin James is a household name, but if you watch Asante Samuel, he's probably the better defensive back that they have. So there's no way that Harbaugh lets him leave, not to mention he's a slot guy too, so Lions won't be picking him up.
I don't mind DJ Reed. He's just a little. He's just smaller for a CB1. Yeah,
I don't give a damn.
I mean,
cover better than Kendall Vildor. Do not give a damn. Do not give a damn.
Can you cover better than Carlton Davis?
Probably about the same level. I put those two very
Carlton.
Similar tier.
I'd rather have
Carlton has better upside, but DJ Reed's definitely more consistent.
Carlton's been here. He knows everything.
Yeah, that's really.
I'd love bring them both in, but I'm saying bring Carlton home for sure. But you can bring DJ Reed as well. Nobody's complaining about that.
Yeah, I just said the money would really start to get in that spot because isn't DJ Reed going to be about 15 as well?
Probably be in the same range.
Yeah.
So that's where the money gets into a little spot to where it's like you can't probably pay both. So you have to pick you have to make your choice essentially, unless you can get one of them at a cheaper deal, which I don't see either one being like I'll take a cheap deal for the other guy.
Wheezy D says DJ Reed is a typical Lions corner that'll get cooked at Ford Field. Hell no, seen it too many times. Won't even get a pick. Justin Coleman all over again.
We're not going to disgrace Justin Coleman either. Justin Coleman was a very good nickelback for the Lions. That's insane to drag Justin Coleman's name through the mud out of anybody. Ridiculous.
Justin Coleman.
Dude, he wasn't being a Pro Bowler, but who else did they have? That was been like the first year Tracy was there. I'm trying to think of the corners.
Akuda?
Yeah, they would have had Akuda, but I'm trying to think who else they had. He was the best corner that they had on the fucking team.
Yeah, that is
ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Honestly, I forgot about Justin Coleman. I don't think it's that bad. Joe Trufant.
Oh yeah, Desmond Trufant. What a time. What a time.
Yeah, that was I like Desmond before. Okay. Thought he was going to be solid.
He was good in Atlanta.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be solid. That was wrong. Very wrong.
Paulson Adebo, fellas. That's a name that I like.
Yeah, I saw Paulson Adebo. I didn't mention him. He's an interesting name too. Paulson Adebo.
Yeah, man-to-man in New Orleans. I like him.
I think he's coming off an injury though, like a pretty. He might not be ready for the season. I don't know.
Bring down the value.
Yeah, I mean you can get him for a little bit of a discount. I don't know. There's other guys, but their priority is going to be resigning Carlton, and I think his preference would be Detroit. But man, like he's going to have a market, man. He's going to have a market. I'll tell you that. What did you just send me? Just Brian Branch getting drilled and
Brian Branch got in the bad spot. Not great.
I mean, Brian Branch just got hit in the nuts in dodgeball at the Pro Bowl.
It's tough.
I mean, it's
a tough look.
I hate this Pro Bowl, man. Just they're so bad at advertising it too. Honestly, the only times I see clips are on like their official Twitter, or us, or we'll repost stuff. Like I don't even know what's going on. Anyway, I want to move on here. More names shining at the Senior Bowl. One of those guys, and Klotzy, I would like your opinion on that. Someone that, and shout out to Easy, he actually posted him, but I've seen Lions fans just
goobin.
I was going to say that. I don't know if I was using that correctly, but just absolutely glazing this man. All right. And I will say, fits a lot what the Lions are looking for, like build-wise. That's Shamar Stewart. That is the
big fella.
The 6'6" DN from Texas A&M. He's a big man. He is a power guy. And look at this man at the Senior Bowl making plays. Easy posted this. I mean, again, similar to the Mike Green thing, just mowing guys down. But look at, he was okay. I will say, like, he's just a big dude. He's a big guy. I mean, he's a big guy, and he plays a little bit like that Davenport, huh? A little bit of that Davenport power.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean,
listen, fellas, and I understand there's going to be a lot of buzz, especially at the combine. There is going to be a lot of buzz around Shamar Stewart. But what have we all talked about since the day that the Lions' regular season has ended? No more projects. I'm going to we're going to play a little bit game, guys. How many sacks did Shamar Stewart have this year at Texas A&M?
1.5.
All right. The year before then.
1.5.
And the year before then.
1.5.
So now people are up in arms about a guy who's had a total of, let's do this math real quick, 5.5 sacks over the last 3 years. Or is it
4.5?
4.5. Not
great,
even.
Great math,
There's my math.
Great
so
math,
we want to take a
guy
who's just a flash in the pan, a risk. No, you don't. They're like Shamar Stewart, great upside. If the Lions were doing this draft 3 years ago, I'd hear you out. But this is literally the player that we have talked about staying away from. And if you want to, I already see it. How many pressures? The Lions need guys that can get home. Get home. If you can't get home consistently at the college level on a good defense, like Texas A&M has had very good defense over the last 2 years. If you can't get home then, I'm sorry, I doubt that you'll be able to do it at a consistent level in the NFC North, in a Super Bowl type of team. I'm out on Shamar Stewart. Great talent, not the player for Detroit. Not the player for Detroit.
I'll say this, too, to piggyback off what Klotz says. I can't remember who the legend is. It might have been like a John Gruden or like a Bill Belichick. One of these all-time greats, right? And when they look, it might have been John Gruden because he does all this draft stuff. And I've been watching a lot of the old stuff too recently. Sometimes, boys, the spring stuff, it looks good. The one thing that this guy said you need to do, just go watch the film and go look at the production. Does the guy produce? He's had the opportunities to do it. Why hasn't he done it? Now, there are guys who don't produce, and they have the upside, and they have everything that comes with it, and they end up being great in the NFL. Most of the time, though, boys, Klotzy, to your point, those are the projects, and those are the guys where you're drafting to hope maybe something comes out of it. But typically, the guys who put the numbers up and the guys who show stuff in college are those successful players in the NFL. And that's where you need to be able to kind of look, I think, going into this draft. Typically, and Easy said it in the chat. Shout out Easy joining. But he said that's a Brad Holmes type guy. That fits his. This is the year where Brad needs to go away from, hey, this guy can potentially be really good. Go get yourself a dude. Go get yourself an edge rusher that you know next season can get you 6.5, 7 sacks. That's what you need. You need someone on the other side of Hutch. And to me, it's an easy thing. Like, hey, there's going to be a lot of guys in the combine, a lot of guys in the Senior Bowl this weekend that stand out, and some of them are going to have great NFL careers. But you can't just forget the tape and the stats of their college careers. You can't. And I think that's your point, Klotzy. It's like you have to still realize they had opportunities too. Did they take advantage of them? Yeah, maybe they had some pressures. Are you getting to the quarterback? No. 4.5 sacks, it's not worth it. Like, it's really not. When you have guys getting 17 at Marshall, you know what I mean? Like, you have dudes out there. So you don't need to sit here and be like, I just want a big project because it's a Dan Campbell size type guy. He loves the big edge rushers that could be tweeners and the guys that he can work. Who cares?
Dynamic.
Dude? It's time to switch it up because guess what? Hey, I want to ask Easy this question. How has that worked over the last 4 years?
I mean, it's true,
genuinely, like, Davenport doesn't work out, right? Like Josh Pascal, Levi O.
James Houston.
James Houston. Like, how has it worked out? You've gone your tweener way. It's time to, like, again, we're allowed to criticize Brad. He's not perfect. The edge room's been the one outside of Hutch because that was the number 2 overall pick. Not perfect. He hasn't figured that out yet. Yeah. Time to figure it out. Maybe stop trying the same thing over and over and over and hoping a guy steps up, hoping he steps up, hoping he learns. Like, dude, he's had 4.5 sacks. You need someone to get you 4.5 sacks or more this year. He's never done that in his full career combined.
Thank you, Booner.
So it's like
there is a break bread here.
There's a point. I think I saw a Gruden video a couple weeks ago that was like, we can have all these conversations with how long these guys' arms are and how fast they are. At the end of the day, go watch their film. Go look at their stats in college. Can they play football and can they produce? That'll give you the answer. That's what. And then these are some of the greatest NFL coaches of all time that say this. Go watch the film. Go see if the guy can produce. That's it.
Yeah, I think I think I'm okay with the Shamar Stewart stuff. Like I think the on paper very intriguing, but if we're talking about someone playing on the opposite side of Hutch, I understand you want a power guy. That's the scheme fit. But we talked about this the other day. Give me someone who can get after the quarterback, but get home specifically. I don't want someone we don't need another commish to set up stuff for Hutch. I want someone to make plays. I want someone to get after the quarterback, make his day hell. That's where I'm at with it. And if Shamar Stewart can do that in the NFL, bring him home. But if
Easy wants to keep doing the same thing over and over and drafting the same type of guys and keep having the same result, so be it. We'll never have a legit pass rush outside of Hutch and the interior guys.
Who was the 2 years ago? Raiders took him, I think, 8th overall. Defensive
Tyree
end.
Wilson.
That's who this is.
From Texas Tech?
Texas Tech, yeah. That's who this is.
Yeah. People loved him too in Detroit. People loved him.
Didn't he have the numbers though a little bit at Texas?
I think it was just like 1 year though. I could be wrong.
But he's still
like, when you just see like a guy who's just going to be overinflated, like this is why, especially like I know I clown the combine a lot, but Shamar Stewart is going to be a guy who lights up the combine. And when it comes down to it, I truly believe that Shamar Stewart would be drafted ahead of guys like Jack Sawyer and that kind of guy that doesn't have the high upside. But then it's like, okay, Jack Sawyer, Boone, you've been saying he could possibly go second round. Let's say if he goes second round, you're really telling me that you should take Shamar Stewart over Jack Sawyer. And it's like, no, there's the only thing you could try to sell me on. It's not going to work, is the potential. The potential. And it's like,
that's the word that's good this year. I'm out on.
I think, and I'm interested. Do you guys think
at least in the first
Brad,
2 rounds.
Easy way to say it is Brad this year needs to draft guys with high floors rather than high ceilings? I think that's kind of.
Klotz, I will say the first 2 rounds, yes. Outside of that, he can do whatever he wants. Just the first 2 rounds. I'm going to stay consistent on this for the next 2 months. I want 2 guys who will make an impact on this team, and then you get those people. Well, Booner. Hey, I don't know. Listen. Like, what about last year with Ennis Rakestraw and Terrion Arnold? But you have such a good roster built out, Booner. Like, there's no holes in this roster. No, let me introduce you opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. You need someone. Go get 2 edges. One of those guys can compete and be your other starting edge. I don't want to hear Booner, like, it's such a packed roster. Like, you already have such a good roster. There are spots on this roster that need to be filled. You have holes. Go get another edge, and don't give me a guy that is like, hey, he might be good. Hey, he might work out. In the first round, if you have an opportunity to go out and get someone, go get a dude. Trade up. Go get me an edge rusher on the other side of Aiden Hutchinson. I don't want to go get a free agent that's been hurt his whole career. I don't want to rely on Zadarius Smith because he's on a 1-year deal. If you bring Zadarius back, take that first-round pick, trade up into the top 20, top 25, and go get yourself an edge rusher and pair that man up with Aiden Hutchinson for the next 3 or 4 years. Get yourself an elite pass rush. Because easy. I was listening to your show this week, and you got in the comment about Terrion Arnold was you really can't judge Terrion on his rookie year because he had a bad pass rush. So it's hard to fix the edge. Go get an edge. And then Terrion, we can have good conversations about Terrion. Go get yourself an edge. Those conversations don't have to happen. We don't need a developing guy. We need a guy. We need someone now. Just like, hey, it's my turn. Give me an edge.
Because, I mean, if you think about Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, their defensive fronts. Your boy Lassiter in Houston. I'm trying to think of the other rookie corners that went this year. But I would say Terrion Arnold, without a doubt, had the worst front 7 situation.
Yeah,
he was one of the worst corners as far as starting quarterback 1 rookie corners. I'm not going to put a guy like Nate Wiggins in front of him because Nate Wiggins was our rotational piece, and he had some bad moments. But Terrion Arnold, like, he did not be in a position to really succeed in year 1. But we talked about it through the season. I think this season will benefit Terrion Arnold more than anything. Like, this will probably be the worst Terrion Arnold that we see. I don't see a world where Terrion Arnold somehow gets worse next year, especially if you add defensive talent. So Terrion, rough year 1, take it to the chin, become that elite corner that Brad knows you can be.
It's great.
Hashtag what?
Edge to the D.
Edge to the D. That's the
Eric's back there like, what the fuck?
Edge to the D.
Put it on a t-shirt,
bring an edge
man.
to the D. That's the storyline of the summer. Edge to the D.
Yeah, it's a summer vibe, man. That's what that is. We got a guest waiting, dude. What an introduction!
Let's go.
Shout out.
I think he's thinking to himself. I think I just fucked up.
Yeah, he's like, here at Edge of the D. He's like, I think I'm on the wrong show now.
My boy is like Hey, let's bring him on because today, actually, Cade Cunningham was announced to be an NBA All-Star, which is awesome. So let's talk to the man who covers the Detroit Pistons for ClutchPoints.com, and he's well connected. I mean, Eric's doing it. I mean, the last time we talked to Eric since then to now, this dude's viral. I mean, he's got, we got Gilbert Arenas talking about his clips from JB Bickerstaff's media press. Let's welcome him to the show. Eric, get in here, Eric. How you doing?
What up, though? How you doing, fellas? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate y'all.
No, dude, it's our pleasure, man. I know it's been you've been busy. I mean, you've been covering a team that's actually entertaining to watch. I know they've had a rough 3-game losing streak, but the good news, Cade's an all-star. Talk to me. How big is this considering every year, Eric, he's like 80th on top, 100 rising players. It's the most disrespectful thing every single year. In your opinion, what does this mean now for Cade to be an all-star for the first time in his career?
This is a huge moment for Detroit sports. Piston fans, you've been showing up at LCA. Everybody knows that Cade has had this potential. We knew that he was built for this kind of moment to be an all-star, a postseason player, a guy that deserves the national spotlight. You see him on NBA and TNT. He's basically showing now and validating everything that we already knew to be true to begin with. He's an all-star, and we knew this was coming, man. Everybody should be super proud of this guy right now. Averaging career-high numbers, obviously bringing on team wins to go along with it. And, again, it wasn't the easiest situation. Like, again, this is another roster with a lot of turnover, another new coach, a new front office that's being patient and not really setting up with the all-star right away, unlike a lot of other guards in the East. So seeing that Cade has finally reached this platform with, again, not the greatest situation in front of him shows how special he is. And I still think we're just scratching the surface on how special this dude is, man. So, yeah, this is an awesome moment for Piston fans, and especially for him, too. Nobody's more deserving of this honor than Cade Cunningham, man. So congratulations to Cade.
Hey, Eric. Hey, it's great having you back on the show. Always love having you. You've been killing it this season. I'll tell you what, you've been dominating this season. One thing I want to ask you about this Pistons team, I think over the last 16 years, my opinion has been, and these guys kind of know it, and this is the change that I've been asking for, one simple word: identity. A culture and an identity. Mm-hmm. Something that this Pistons organization has not had since probably the Going to Work Pistons. In the last 16 years, you've seen it. I've been going at it, and I finally see JB Bickerstaff has given this team an identity. Can you talk about that a little bit? Because I was walking in Detroit downtown today, and I heard some people talking about the Pistons, and I heard the bad boys pop up. And the one guy was like, no, they'll never be like the bad boys. But when I start hearing that means that they're building their own identity, and people are actually starting to take notice of how they're playing and what they're doing and the toughness. Is that kind of what you see out of this team, and what kind of identity do you see them building heading into the playoffs?
Yeah, during media day before the season started, that was one of the big priorities by Trajan Lane that he spoke of, and by JB Bickerstaff. They said by around March, by the midway point, they want to be able to establish an identity for this franchise and for this roster. And I think they did that really honestly before that. We talked to JB Bickerstaff maybe a month ago, and he put on some signature wins, beating the Phoenix Suns on the road, taking down the Lakers, winning at Madison Square Garden, the play-in game, well, not the play-in game, the in-season tournament game against the Pacers. And those are the kind of moments that stuck out to JB that says, okay, they're finally getting it now. You're seeing the leap. You're seeing a lot of questions get answered. Does the backcourt of Cade and Ivy work? 100% it does. We still see the potential in Asar, the potential in Beef Stew, who's one of the best rim protectors in all of basketball right now. Same with Duren. He kind of still going a little bit inconsistent right now, but it's there. It's building, and you see the connection. And it's also reflecting through their leadership as well. JB Bickerstaff is, to me, it's kind of like how the Lions have with Dan Campbell. I think his personality and his his bravado is kind of resonating through the team right now. Even when they took not the most recent loss, but the most recent loss against the Pacers when they were at home, when he said, hey, he was talking trash to him, basically saying, because he was asked if the rivalry's coming up. He said, yeah, well, when we were kicking their ass last time, we played them, they weren't acting the same way. So there's going to be a rivalry. Let's make it that way. And I just like to see like that connection within the whole team basically resonate, because it means something, not just see from your players, but from leadership as well, especially when your last coach, everyone was questioning if he even wanted to be here on the team. So yeah, I think to finally see the identity from top to bottom really fulfilled with this team, I think it's a huge step forward. I'm actually writing an article about it on clutchpoints.com tomorrow, and I think that's the most important development that we've seen this season so far.
Yeah, Eric, like the fella said, great to have you on the show. You're fucking killing it this year, man. So I'm happy for you with all the success.
Appreciate y'all.
Just going stride for stride with the Pistons right now. And the Pistons are sitting at the 8 seed, but in a good game span, if they put together a good 4 or 5 game stretch, they could jump up all the way to the 6. If you look at Miami's falling apart, Orlando, solid team, obviously, but I don't think they're too far ahead of the Pistons. When you look at this trade deadline, what do you think moves need to happen? And what position do you think is most important for them to acquire so they can kind of make a push into this playoffs?
Yeah, that Jaden Ivey injury really changed a lot for them. I thought they maybe at this point could have been a little bit more aggressive with some of the trade deadline options that they could be looking at now. But unfortunately, it always seems like an injury kind of derails that for them. And the Ivy leg injury really kind of changed a whole lot with that now. Even though they kind of still needed this position prior to that anyway, I still think they need another primary decision maker, a ball handler, like a backup point guard, or someone who can just generate offense for themselves and others. I don't think they're going to be swinging for the fences for like a big superstar, like some names that have been mentioned around a lot, like a Zach LaVine or a Brandon Ingram. Like, I just don't see that happening right now. Basically, I just don't think they have the assets to want to do it. And I also don't think that Trajan wants to be that aggressive yet. So for me, like, there's a couple names that I have in mind. I think one maybe a little bit more of wishful thinking than the other. And I think another one is a little bit more reasonable. The more reasonable one that I think will be Colin Sexton. I think Utah is going to start blowing things up soon. And I feel like, given his skill set as a speedy, shifty guard that can score, create his own offense for himself and others. He's a, tenacious defender as well. And he has familiarity with playing under JB Bickerstaff, as he used to be a Cavalier back in the day. So it would make sense to have him on the fold and bring him in away from a team like Utah that, again, should be imploding anytime soon. If they were looking to get a little bit more aggressive, and again, I don't see this happening, I think he'll probably go to a contender or somebody that's a little bit more playoff ready. I would really love to see Cam Johnson on this basketball team. I think Brooklyn is in another position too, where again, they let Dennis Schroeder go. And I think they're going to probably let a few more go before the deadline. So I just think Cam would be so perfect on this team. Like, they need another stretch he could play the 3 or the 4. He's doing a good job of not even just being a catch and shoot 3-point shooter anymore. He's also doing a good job of creating his own jumper, getting to the hoop. He's still a great defender from 1 to 4. And like, I just think he would add so much more on a consistent basis, especially looking at what they have from a forward position now. Asar is good, but he's still very shaky offensively and is still learning what it means to be a primary defender without fouling. And then Tobias Harris is just very streaky. He's either giving you around 20 or he's just missing and out cold. So while he's done some other good things in terms of veteran leadership, he's been a good rebounder, a good defender. He still just doesn't give you that consistency on an offensive consistency basis. And I think that's where Cam Johnson would be absolutely perfect for this team. It would be expensive to get him, but I can dream too. As a journalist, I should be able to dream a little bit too.
I think I might be all in on that one, to be honest.
Eric, it's actually crazy that you mentioned Colin Sexton because Boone, I think you were there too. And I asked Jeff, my buddy at work is a Pacers fan. He's a diehard Pacers fan, but he doesn't hate the Pistons just because they're not a threat, obviously, right now. And he was like, hey, Klotz, the Trojans got to go pick up Colin Sexton. I was like, I like that. And I asked Jeff because I was like, Sexton, he's pretty much what Ivy does, but I would say Sexton defensively is elite, like on the perimeter. So I was like, yeah. And Jeff was like, I don't know. But I just thought it was crazy that you bring up Colin Sexton out of all people. I love the fit.
I like Colin Sexton, Eric. I think it was more like, because let me ask you this. The one thing I don't know, and I'll be honest about it, how many years is he under contract? Do you know? What's his
I don't know off top. Let me figure that out for you.
That's the only thing I was wondering. If it's maybe like a 1 year, 2 year deal, something like that, it'd be awesome. Like, I like Colin, dude. I mean, I fell in love with Colin when was 1-on-4, whatever, 5, 2-on-5 again when he played.
That was unbelievable. Yeah,
I get it. Like, guys got the dog in him.
He's got grit.
He's got another year left on his deal, so he's obviously here for this season, and then after next season, he'll be an unrestricted free agent.
That's
Run him and Bees off the bench, though.
You know what? That's what I want to ask you, Eric, dude. Malik Beasley, this man, like. Trajan Langdon, this might be one of the better free agent signings I have ever, like, in at least definitely the last decade. I mean, this dude has been spectacular. He's like top 3 in made threes. I'm a bettor myself. The boys, we indulge, get on FanDuel. You sprinkle a little bit of money on 3-4 threes, it's guaranteed. He's smacking it every game. What do you make of the impact he's had? Seems like he's Cade's like #1 fan as well. He's a great teammate, awesome dude. What do you make of his impact? And honestly, that's a guy, Eric, that they have to keep around, right? Like, you got to give this dude an extension. Like, you just don't trade him. No way.
Yeah, I don't see the logic in letting him go, honestly. He had the interview where he talked about contending teams like on his line, interested in possibly bringing him on board. But yeah, if I'm Trajan Langdon, I don't want to let this guy go. And again, to me, I look at him as one of the best NBA offseason acquisitions, period. You get him on a 1-year deal. And I mean, we can maybe even say that I don't want to say he's overachieving because he's always been a great shooter, but I don't think anybody expected him to be this good and this consistent because we've seen games like against Sacramento where they were down double digits and he goes on an absolute heater in 3 minutes just like that. And they're still back in the game. Like, his resiliency as a shooter, he's done a lot of good helping in terms of communicating. He takes a lot of time. Him and Tim Hardaway Jr. have done a lot in terms of helping guys like Asar, Ron Holland, even Jalen Duren in terms of how to defend without fouling, because that's something that they get in trouble with a lot as young players. So, like, the impact that they've had, again, the shooting speaks for itself. He should join Cade on that trip to San Francisco in the three-point shootout. I'm putting my parlay money on him for sure. And I think he is absolutely something that should be a part of this building block and this foundation. Like, you need shooters on this team. They're already lacking offensively. And honestly, he's not that old. He's only 28 years old. Like, I can see and understand why maybe it's Tim Hardaway, who's 30 plus, or Tobias, who's 30 plus, same way. I can see why they will maybe be the first names mentioned as guys that maybe a little more expendable than the others. I think Beasley has just been way too consistent in terms of what they need. And like you say, his personality is great. The infectious vibes that he brings to the locker room, like, he's just a different kind of guy, and he connects a lot with this team and these young personalities. So yeah, if I'm Trajan Langdon, he's one of my priorities. I wouldn't want to let him go.
Hey, Eric, one player that I love him personally, because I love a guy that just has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, Isaiah Stewart. I scroll Twitter, and every time I turn the Pistons on, he plays so hard, and he is elite at what he does defensively, getting in guys' heads. I love that type of side of some players personally. But I see on Twitter a lot of people are kind of going back and forth, and it's half and half split on Stu. What are your thoughts on the Isaiah Stewart stuff? And honestly, him moving forward, what he does for this basketball team, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Hey, Boone, don't let him find out you build Legos, man. Don't
I do. I'll say I am a Lego builder. I've got Legos for
you're already behind it, man. You're already behind.
I love Stu. I mean, maybe I'll get Stu some Legos and we can work that thing out.
Yeah, that troll about Miles Turner hurt after the game, but yeah. I gotta humble myself a little bit. I've definitely been one of Stu's biggest critics, because unfortunately with Monty Williams and even a little bit of Dwayne Casey, it just seemed like they were kind of playing him out of position in a lot of different ways. Trying to use him as a consistent stretch forward to be your 3-point, knockdown shooter. Like, that was not his game at all. So, he's talked about how excited he was to go back to being a center, even in terms of coming off the bench. I mean, he still plays a lot of time with the starting five. And I think he's very valuable for this team right now. He's definitely, impressed me a lot in terms of his defensive rim protection, especially when that's one of the biggest needs that this team needs right now. Like, they want that from Duren, and it's still kind of coming and going. But Beef Stew has been, pretty consistent all season. He definitely kind of shoots himself and the team in the foot, sometimes with his mouth and with his antics. Like, there's definitely been games where we've seen Cade have to check him. Like, he got a technical foul. I forgot who they played in one of their season. I think the season opener, he asked, like, why'd you get a tech? Why would you do that? Like, so they've had to kind of reel him in a few times. Yeah. And it's not like the Rasheed Wallace effect where, like, if you tech Sheed up, he's going to be the best player on the floor for the next 10 minutes. Like, Beef Stew is definitely, helpful even when he's angry, but he sometimes gets outside of himself, and he's still pretty limited as an offensive player, even though he's still, being reliable as a finisher at the rim, a guy that can, finish when Cade draws attention. I think he still needs to bring a little bit more for this offense if he wants to, at least for me, kind of stay around as that, foundational guy. But, everybody loves him. They all call him the heart and soul of this team. And, again, he's just one of those guys that, like you said, stands for that kind of Detroit gritty attitude, going back to like the Bad Boys type days. I'm sure they love watching him on TV. So, yeah, he has his value. He's definitely impressed me, and I got to give him his respect for how he's played this year.
Moving to another big, Eric, when you look at Beef Stew, you talk about loving what he's been able to do this year. When you look at Ron Holland, now a rookie, it was Trajan's first draft pick. What have you been looking at, and what have you taken away from his start so far to his rookie season?
He gets better every single game. I think he really is learning what it means to be a professional, and he's had to go through a lot of bumps and bruises to get there. I think that game against Milwaukee, I think it was, where he got fouled at the end of the game, and he had a chance to, I think, either tie it or win the game off of 2 free throws, and then he missed both of them. I think that was a huge humbling moment for him, where he kind of had to understand who he is and understand those little details of the game on what it means and how to close basketball games for this team. So he's been a great defender all season. He plays with great energy every time he comes out on the court. We talk about gritty attitudes. He's one of those dudes that's not scared to scrap or throw down for his team. And I think he's really starting to expand his game as an offensive player. Somebody I compare him to in terms of his trajectory, and again, this might be a controversial day because of how wild this dude has been lately, but to me, I think his growth, someone that he can like maybe take notes from, is a young Jimmy Butler. Not Jimmy right now. I mean like Chicago Jimmy, where he was a role player, focused on defense, hyper athletic, and then as he grew year by year, you saw different things like, oh, he's taking mid-range jumpers now. He's going stronger to the hoop. He's jumping out the gym. He's not, he's talking trash. Like, he's doing different things to show that. And now we're seeing that with Ron a little bit more so too. He's hunting his shot a little bit more consistently. He's getting a lot more comfortable in his 3-point attempts. Like, he's a guy that spent a lot of time with Fred Vincent and Asar in a lot of those, the 3-point works of his game. And I think we're going to see that grow more and more and more. I mean, obviously the goal is to, see him build and mold himself again as another building block of this foundation. And luckily he's a rookie and they're winning enough where they don't have to rely on him super heavily. So I think he's doing a really good job in terms of his progression right now. And the Pistons should be very encouraged with what they've seen so far.
Hey, before we get you out of here, Eric, I got to ask you, they're hanging in there right now. They're not in the play-in. They're in the playoffs as we stand. The playoffs are the expectation, right? Which sounds kind of crazy now that we're, before the season, we were talking expectations, and it wasn't like a common thought that they'd be in the play-in, maybe contending. But is it pretty much at this point, play-in, playoffs, or bust, or it'd be a disappointing? Where are you at? Are you just happy with the growth?
Nah, it has to be playing at this point.
Okay.
Because the guys are going to be disappointed if they don't get it. Like, Cade on NBA on TNT said the exact same thing. He said, playing is one thing, but we want to be able to lock in a playoffs position. I don't sit in that position. Like, if they get in a play-in, that's a W. That's okay. It doesn't have to be playoff to me, but it is an open window. I mean, if you look at their schedule in February, they don't have a whole lot of tough games. Like, they play Chicago 3 times. They play Charlotte, Philadelphia, that's spiraling. Atlanta, they play them twice. They're spiraling. Like, outside of, I think they play Denver, Boston, and Cleveland, like, 3 times. Outside of that, it's a lot of winnable games, coming up on their schedule in February. So if they can get on the roll, get some good momentum going, I think they have a lot of good matchups where they could, get a good push for that 6th seed if necessary. Yeah. Right now, I think they're 8 or 9 right now, but they're not far away. The East is not super strong. And a lot of those teams that are ahead of them right now, they've either beaten them or they've been competitive in at least 1 or 2 of the contests. So I think they have a real shot at it. That should absolutely be their hope at this point in the season.
You know what?
That's
the stuff I want to hear, Eric. We appreciate you. Keep up the great work, my friend. Dude's just sharp. Basketball mind. Check him out.
Dialed in. I love it.
Eric Vincent. And check him out. Of course, Clutch Points covers the Pistons as well. Eric, we'll talk to you soon, brother. Appreciate you as always.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thank you. Take it easy, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, Eric.
Yes,
Eric
sir.
Vincent, the man.
One of the best in the game right now.
Yeah.
He is elite at what he does. Great follow on Twitter.
He's awesome. I just saw what you said. Colton Pouncey put this something out about the old John Morton bit. There's more coming out about John Morton.
I think Klotz.
I'll go into it open-minded. Do
you know what's going to happen? Klotz, I've known you for years now. I'm starting to feel like I know you like the back of my hand.
All right.
You're going to end up being the guy that's like sticking up for John Morton. I love this guy at some point. Like I feel like it might be like 6 months from now, a year from now.
If I'm proven wrong, it's really hard to now like Lamar Jackson. I thought Lamar Jackson was going to be a bust. Like no one could ever tell me like ever again. Like you can't disrespect Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Like if you prove me wrong, you prove me wrong.
I think it just I get a feeling. And when I get these feelings, typically it's just like I get a gut feeling. Typically, the gut feelings are right for me. I don't know what it is.
Oh, look at this.
This is one of them.
Colton Pouncey put out, my favorite John Morton tidbit is that he once told Ben Johnson that Lions linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez looked like a fullback. So Ben Johnson used Rodriguez as a fullback next season.
That's something, huh?
Boom!
Hey, Klotz, you know what that is, right? That's a football encyclopedia in his head. He just knows ball. He just knows ball.
Boone, I'm not denying that this man doesn't know ball. The thing that I'm questioning, not denying, questioning is his play calling abilities. That's all.
Yeah. It's actually calling the plays. It's knowledge.
Hey, who knows?
When
you know ball.
This is true. This is true, Boone. But there's certain roles. There's certain roles in ball. There's certain roles.
He's got every role. I just keep,
you know what
I keep going back to? One of my favorite football guys right now, and I've used his name a million times, is John Gruden. And just knowing John or that John Morton's a John Gruden guy, like he worked under him for years, just pumps me up because I've been watching all these John Gruden videos, but he's putting out new videos. You guys didn't know. He's got like quarterback camp ones, but instead of quarterback camp, he's bringing in he just put a video out 2 days ago, and he's got like all of these wide receiver prospects, running back prospects, corner prospects, and he's putting them all in the film room, and he's just going at them. And he's like, stand up.
He's doing it again.
Yeah, there's already 2 episodes out, but he's doing like every position group, and he'll be like, stand up, introduce your name to the room, give me a handshake, and then the guy would be like,
it's awesome.
I'm Mike Green, whatever, blah blah blah, and he's like, give me a firm handshake. He's like, not strong enough. It's like he just going to, and it's the best. And then he had like the whole group, like the last one he had, and he has his Fired Coaches Association building in Tampa. Like he's named it the Fired Coaches Association. Just a legendary move for fired coaches to come work. And he had them in the lobby of that running through plays, and like you can barely run a route, and the guy like you can't tell what routes guys are running, and he's like, everyone messes up owes me $1, and like every single time they snap the ball, $1, wrong route. It's like, dude, you can't even tell what route they're running. But he's like the football minds, and some people just love ball, dude. He is one of them, and it's like
I'm
John
so
Morton.
happy he's back around the game.
Oh, it's the best, dude.
His quarterback camp when you had Jameis. When he has Jameis or guys like EJ Manuel, and he's just like.
You watched the Kellen Moore one? I watched that the other day.
Yeah, the Kellen Moore, he did one too, coming out of Boise State.
But
Kellen
his videos
Moore
now are just funny.
Dog at Boise. He put Boise State on the map. He did.
Yeah.
If you want to get to know prospects this year, Gruden's putting out these videos, and he's got like 7 or 8 just dudes. Like, dude, he's getting like wide receiver from Georgia, wide receiver from Bama, wide receiver from Ole Miss.
Where are they at? Are they on Barstool?
He has his own channel. Yeah, it's Barstool, but he has his own channel, like John Gruden.
Because I'm on his channel, I don't see it. I want to
just
watch
follow his Instagram.
His Instagram, but like it's John. Here, I'll send you a link. It's literally
we can
Gruden loves. It's literally Gruden loves football, and you go to videos. Where is it at? Actually, I don't know where it's at.
Yeah, I want to see that. That's hilarious, man.
I was watching them. Oh, it's John Gruden Barstool. That's the thing. John Gruden Barstool on YouTube, and they're elite, dude. I've watched them, and like they don't show everything, but just him just talking ball with these guys just gets you a little fired up. And then I write down the names of the guys he's talking to and go watch some film, see how these guys are. He's not bringing he's not bringing anybody in his room. He's getting dudes.
That's the real combine right there, Boone.
Oh, dude. I mean, I'm going to try and find a way to get John Gruden while we're at the combine. I would guess he's there.
Elite.
That would be a big time one.
Yeah.
You know who he does a show with? Klotz, you guys make fun of me all the time for bringing him up, but
who?
he does a show with Stephen Shea.
Oh, yeah. Hey, there's no diss with Stephen Shea here, Boone. We just know whenever the Tampa Bay Buccaneers get brought
That's
up.
my Tampa guy.
I got a guy. I got a
Tampa guy.
Big Buccaneers inside.
I'm one person removed from John Gruden, so maybe at some point I'll throw the text out there and see if we can get that. That would be an unbelievable. Oh my gosh. If we met him in person too, I would instantly just shake his hand and then get down in like a stance. How's my stance, coach?
Hey, I
average. He just starts kicking your legs.
Got potential.
So I wanted to show you guys an updated mock draft. Bucky Brooks just put one out yesterday.
Bucky Brooks.
And we didn't get to it. So we can go through the whole first round. I think that'd be fun. We can just go through and see where everyone's going.
Yeah.
And then we can get to the Lions pick. So Bucky Brooks, his NFL mock 1.0. Not quite Mel Kiper, but it's
Bucky Brooks is something, man. He is all over the place, Bucky Brooks.
What does that even mean?
He just has he's a wizard hat for sure. He's a wizard hat.
Yeah, that's what he is. Wizard hat. Well, look at the first two picks for Bucky Brooks. It is Shedeur Sanders and Abdul Carter. That's the first two off.
Shedeur going 1-1. It's already wrong. It's done.
Honestly, I think number one's it's a couple players. I think. Yeah, I don't think it's as crazy. I think it's like he might lean a certain who.
Cam Ward.
It should. I'm glad we've come full circle on Cam Ward. That we can break bread.
Yeah, that was on me early on in the season.
Hey, it's all right.
He just, you know what it was, and this happens to me a lot, and I need to learn how to deal with this. I bet on guys, and I bet on Cam Ward at Wazoo a couple times, taking the over.
Inconsistent.
Yeah, especially with the over. I was, when you take a Wazoo over, it's typically like with Cam Ward, you're hitting that. I would tune in on a late night Pac-12 game, and Cam Ward would screw me over. So I think I just had a vendetta out for him.
Hey.
Well, we've
come to acceptance.
They have Cam Ward going 3. I think these will be the top 3 picks. So it just in whatever order you want. I don't really care. I'm not going to pick battle. I really don't care what you think. I mean, Shedeur, Abdul, Cam, unless Travis Hunter maybe gets in the top 3.
I honestly, and I gotta want to do more research, and obviously as the weeks and months go on, we've learned this over the last few years. Reports come out of what teams want and what they're you start to get a feel for more so of what teams want. I think it's going to end up shaping up for where Travis Hunter's in the top 3 and Shedeur's out.
I wouldn't be shocked at all. He's probably, if you want to go like pure football player, he's got to be the best player in the draft. I mean,
I just find it hard 3 teams to pass up on a guy like Travis Hunter. So if you're a quarterback, if you're a Giants or Titans, you need a quarterback, trade back, get Shedeur at 4 or 5, and you can.
I just hope he doesn't go to Cleveland, man. It would suck to see Travis Hunter.
The tricky thing, though, if you're trading back, the team that's trading up probably, I would assume, wants a quarterback. No, like if it's like the Raiders,
unless you trade up for Travis Hunter.
I mean, yeah, you could.
You just would have to know.
You're mortgaging a quarterback though, as far as trade assets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's. I mean, there's the teams that are in this. I mean, besides the Patriots, top 5 picks all kind of need a quarterback. I mean, the Browns, I guess you can argue they don't. I mean, they probably can't afford to take one, but it's over with Deshaun Watson. But yeah, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter goes 4, 5. Mason Graham. Oh, sorry, not
Still
5.
Huge for Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's a great
dude. Think about that defense too. That defense starting to kind of bolster up a little bit. They're eventually gonna. Hopefully they start turning around, but they got weapons offensively. That's a good move. I actually too. By the way, I know we're stopping at every pick here, but Liam Cohen, him actually wasn't bad. Like it wasn't as awkward. Like he actually seemed like he might be decent there. So that's a good.
You see that video I sent in the group chat of him meeting Baker for the first time, Boone?
Baker?
Because he was the OC. Yeah.
No, I did not. No.
Go back and you're going to be like, oh, God.
But
but he did a good job as the OC. I'm kind of swaying close to what you boys were saying, where it's not that bad of a hire. I just cannot stand the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't.
Which is fair. I saw some people tweet out, like some NFL players and some like pretty big names tweet out and just say like he might have felt weird in the press conference, but he's just a dude. Like he's just a dude's dude. Like he just loves it. And you could tell in that video of him dapping up, Christian Kirk and those guys. Like he just wants. He's one of the bros.
I've tried. And again, I'm not saying that Liam's gonna be this coach at all, but I'm over the press conference thing. Like I'm over that. Yeah. Like that's why
it's fun moment.
Yeah, like you can get maybe like you can say things, but when it comes to like football, none of this shit even matters. It's like, can you win games or not? Like Dan wanted to bite kneecaps. I was like, oh my god, this guy's gonna stink, and he's awesome.
I'm biting kneecaps. Mason Graham though, by the way, with Josh Hines-Allen, with Trayvon Walker.
Oh yeah,
Armstead.
That's a great.
That defense line's stacked.
And then at 6, T-Mac goes to the Raiders.
Great spot. They need another weapon. I love that.
That would be. I mean, they get like Russell as like a bridge QB.
Chicken.
Get yourself a running back in the second round.
And then at 7, Will Campbell. 8, Michael Williams. So
hey, that's that first tackle. Remember the other day I was saying all these offensive linemen. I kept seeing DT. There's the first OT.
Yeah, it's kind of a weaker tackle. No, it's not. There's not like a Panay or like a any like last year there was more.
Will Campbell's gonna be fucking good.
Will Campbell's gonna be good, but he's not like a.
He reminds me of generational
Lewan.
Ooh, great pull.
That's a.
You don't like that? Michigan man.
Was that supposed to wow me? Like
Taylor Lewan was fucking great. He was
like one of the best offensive linemen at one point in the NFL. He just kept getting hurt.
Lewan was fucking insane.
He just kept getting hurt. He had those knee injuries. He had like the weakest knees in football.
He's built like a tea kettle, whatever you want to call it, teapot at the end of it, like at the end of his career, bro. It looked so odd.
What's crazy too is I actually saw a highlight video of him the other day. Like he was like one of the meanest guys in football at one point.
Yeah.
And it was a highlight mix of him. And I love dudes like that, like the Isaiah Stewart, but like he just like, he didn't take, like you touched his quarterback, he was coming at you. I love that.
Yeah, no, he there was a stretch there. He was a dog.
I think he signed like the biggest contract he set the market at tackles one point.
Mike Kell goes to the Panthers, which, man, the Panthers should hope that T-Mac falls to them, honestly.
Yeah.
Jalen Walker for the Saints. Chicago Bears take Armand Membo, Missouri offensive tackle.
Yeah,
so the Bears
guys, I don't know about him yet, for real.
See, that's what I mean with this class for tackles.
I could be wrong. I thought maybe I heard that he was going to be playing guard. I could be so wrong.
Yeah, it's slash offensive guard. I mean, yeah, probably balancing that. But number 11, Will Johnson to the 49ers.
That'd be crazy if he fell that far. That would suck if he goes to the Niners too.
Because I think
Will Johnson's going to be great too.
Yeah. That dude's
like
special. Ashton Genty, not surprised. Bears take him at 12.
Similar.
Yeah, it is crazy. Top 15 running back.
You can find another Ashton Genty in the 3rd round, Boone.
If I'm sitting here, if I'm the Cowboys,
they need it.
The
Cowboys literally need a running back. And you have a sensei, the best running back we've seen since Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
I don't hate them taking them. I actually do like that for the Cowboys.
Yeah, listen. It's the Cowboys. Nothing surprises me. So you just take a running back. That's fine. That's okay. I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player. It's just, again,
Jerry's hit on running backs. What's his name? Vaughn or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
hey, Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, they need someone. They desperately need a running back. Honestly, they get a running back, their offense or their teams like that might be their missing piece. They just can't get the run game going.
They need
Dolphins, Tyler Booker, Indianapolis Colts take Tyler Warren. That's
great for the Colts.
Jeff, I'm sure you agree with me. I think that last year Brock Bowers was the exception. How you feel with running backs in the 1st round is how I feel with tight ends in the 1st.
I agree. I think tight ends are kind of in that same category, man. Like do I think Tyler Warren's a good player? Yes, but if I'm the Colts, like I'm looking at. I mean, the Colts need more than just a tight end, man. Like
that's the last. Like
they need corners. they need. I mean, you can argue at this spot probably what Klotzy, maybe a linebacker. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, literally anything.
Defense.
Yeah,
defense is as much as people are like, they paid so much money on that defense. They spent all this money giving extensions, doing this, that it is turmoil in that defensive room right now for them. They need to go get some dudes. And
with the Warren Bold, he might take anything away.
No, great. He's going to be really good in the NFL. But the thing is, with like tight ends, you guys remember a couple years ago, the Sam Laporta one, there was like a stack of tight ends, and they all ended up going in the second round. And I think that like even guys in the NFL, you don't really typically. I mean, you see it, but
I mean, Dalton Kincaid went in the first round. He showed out for the playoff game.
Yeah, but like to me, I would rather get a Sam Laporta in the second round or someone like that in the third round, personally. You can find production there.
Falcons take Shamar Stewart, and the Cardinals take James Pierce Jr. So the two guys we've been talking about are off the board already.
Wait, do you see? Okay, can we just read this bio real quick? Atlanta's eternal desperation for a pass rusher could lead to a height, weight, speed. Listen, keyword. Are you ready, boys? Gamble on Stewart. Despite his limited production, the former Aggie could garner interest as a boom or bust edge menace. Not what the Lions need. They need a solidified edge rusher, a bona fide edge rusher. I'm gonna start using big words, boys.
Yeah, I mean,
the
Falcons taking Shamar Stewart that's on brand. I mean,
I love that next one.
It really is.
It's they're just taking guys that have a lot of potential that don't pan out. That sounds fine. Could Shamar possibly be developed?
Well, that's not what we're possibly, but that's not what we're fucking here for.
I think that's the point of what we're saying is we don't want the development guys.
Yeah, like give me a guy that can play now. Doesn't mean he has to be elite now, but Shamar Stewart could easily be the second or third string defensive end when week one comes. Like, and you're in the first round, even if you got to trade up, don't give a damn. You got a comp pick. Get a guy that can start for you without a doubt week one.
Yeah.
And it's not even against Shamar. Like Shamar could easily work out and become a really good player, but it's the gamble. Yeah, I'm not taking gambles, man. I'm not doing that.
I'm out on it.
All right, James Pierce Jr. will love this.
7.5 sacks this year, 9.5 last year. The man, hey, that's what we talk about. Production gets the job done. James Pierce Jr.
He's probably SEC. Honestly, Nico crawled so James Pierce could walk for my favorite prospect. Like, I watched a lot of Nico this year because sometimes it was ugly, but one guy that stood out to me every time I watched Tennessee was this fucking dude, James Pierce Jr. He is a freak. Like, I started falling more and more in love with him. Obviously, we knew the Lions needed an edge. So this is a guy, it's probably one of my favorite prospects. The only thing that does concern me with him is he's a little lighter. He's like 245. He's not which, Dan and Brad, they want guys that can, he's going to have to bulk up. I mean, you got to be able to defend the run. But as a pass rusher, high win rate, like he relies on his athleticism a lot, but, he's a big dude, 6'5".
Let that
boy got a little bigger. Got to get a little bigger.
Let that boy eat around Panay Sewell for a couple weeks. He'll put on some weight.
He's got to get 15 more pounds on him.
Yeah,
probably.
that ain't.
No, you know what? We can find a really good use out of Broderick Martin. Let him hang out with Broderick for a little bit.
Yeah.
What did Doc say?
Big body
Jets every other day or whatever.
Question real quick, boys. Sorry, my hand's starting to get tired. Tough. Hey, boys, question. Hey, we might be in person by the time the draft comes around. Can we get in our new studio whenever we get one a big whiteboard and make ourselves a crunch time big board to where us three have to agree on where guys go and when we're and it's guys that we want for the Lions, and it is a big board for the Lions. And honestly, what we could do is McAfee had Belichick on last year during the draft show, and he had his big board and all that. We can literally just copy the same way Belichick did it, and then we just make our own. We move our guys around, and we have to agree on it. 3 of us. It's got to be a 2 out of the 3 to get them at a certain number, and we have our own big board weeks leading up to the draft.
I like that.
You know what I
might just get a whiteboard behind me and just start a big board, and then we can just bring it to the studio.
You know what would be good content?
I'll do that. I'm going to do that.
If we each had our own big board, then we can see how they age.
Yeah, I just like the Crunch Time Sports big board. And us three, and then when the draft comes around, hey, we're cheering for our guys. We know we can move this guy around. We could do this.
Because I think because I feel like Klotz would
like
have
having
most, like random. Like I want to see what Klotz's big board would look like.
He can
like,
add that in, but do teams have 6 different big boards in their draft room? No, they have their one team big board. We need to come up with the big board. We need a Crunch Time Sports big board, and we need to. Hey, if we're the GM, if this is our organization, and Klotzy's like our he's like our senior scout. Like, hey, bring us some dudes.
Yeah, Michael might be right. We might never agree on one of these.
We will. No, hey, we have to act like we're in an organization here. Right?
Like, for example, you guys are going to outnumber me for Cam Ward. But in my heart, I don't see it. I don't see it.
Hey, what do they do? What does Dan Campbell do? If
it's not about you,
you're sitting in a room, a Lions draft. No, you're sitting in a Lions draft room, and one guy doesn't like him, but other guys do. Are you walking out of the draft room?
Yeah, I'm leaving.
We're doing a Crunch Time.
I'm going to the Bears.
Klotzy, if Jeff doesn't want,
go paint your nails with Caleb and Ben.
Hey, if he doesn't want to do a Crunch Time Sports big board, hey, we're doing one.
We'll do it, Boone. I like the idea.
The CT
Let's see the board well.
And we can have it, and it'll be up in our office, and it'll be right there. People, and you know when we do
and
film,
Jeff won't be allowed in.
No, when we film and stuff, we blur it out. Like we act like we're actually like the team. Like we don't want anyone to see our big board.
The folders, like you could see the folders, but you can't see the title on the folders. Like,
it's like, hey, Mel Kiper, Field Yates. They both have their own big board.
Like, cool. I don't want to be like
Mel.
Of
course,
Kiper.
He wants to be like Field Yates.
Yeah. Okay, exactly. Why can't we do something together? Why can't we do something as a team for once, Jeff? Why do you always want to be separate? This is a team project.
Well, we'll see.
I want a big board.
I'm down for a big board.
Well, hey, we get magnets ordered and everything.
Well, if you thought the tight end in the first round was already a problem, the Bengals took Colston Loveland. So
Colston's going to be good though. I think Colston ends up going to the Chargers. I think he ends up.
Yeah. Why would the Bengals take a tight end, man? Like, come on, Bucky, head out of your ass, man.
He was fine for him. See, this is the wizard hattery. Like, they need defense. This is a defensive heavy draft. There's 2 Ohio State defensive ends that. I mean, when they take Ohio State players, they usually hit in Cincy. So that's a terrible pick. Like, it's not a terrible player in Colston Loveland, but a terrible pick for what the Bengals need.
Yeah,
he reminds me of Kincaid.
Calvin Banks, offensive lineman, and then Buka.
Good for the Bucks, dude.
That's a great pick for them.
They do have so many receivers now, though.
They're losing Godwin in free agency, though.
You think so? Oh, wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was done. Coming off an injury. Maybe they sign him, though, coming off that injury.
I've been seeing the Raiders are trying to go all in. Brady, Godwin.
But Emeka would still be good there. I mean, Chris Godwin's in the slot?
That's either you put McMillan on the outside with Mike Evans and you put Ibuka in the slot. Yep.
And then the Denver takes Malachi Starks. Steelers take Luther Burden. Matthew Golden goes to the Chargers. They take
be a great wide receiver.
Packers take Jahdae Barron. And then the Vikings take a corner. Texans take Kenneth Grant. Benjamin Morrison goes
big for them. Oh my gosh,
that Kenneth Grant would fall that far.
Yeah, that D line in Houston is going to be absolutely.
Josh Simmons
scary.
goes to the Rams. That's a good pick, man.
Hey, tackle.
They need offensive linemen. 27, Josh Connerly Jr. Tackle goes to the Ravens, and then at 28, the Detroit Lions take Mike Green.
I'd be a happy
Donovan Jackson, JT. Oh, JTT is at 30, so he's still available. Derek Harmon, and then the Kansas City Chiefs take Siobhan Revel Jr. So no Jack Sawyer.
Every first round, I'm telling you, boys, he might test good
too. So
you might be able to snag him in the second, move up in the second.
I'd be so happy with Mike Green.
Imagine if you got Mike Green and then you moved up in the second round and grabbed Jack Sawyer.
What about JTT? Why is he slept on a little bit?
That's a Klotzy question.
He's just somebody that's never been able to put it all together consistently.
They have like 12 and a half.
He's like solid. Injuries kind of I don't know. There's just not a lot of high floor guy. That makes sense. Like I would, if the Lions took him, like I would be, like I'd be a happy camper.
Yeah.
Like him and Sawyer are like same playing field, I'd say.
Yeah, Mike.
JTT's probably got, just with how big he is, natural upside compared to Jack Sawyer. But like if I'm taking one, I would take Sawyer.
That's interesting.
What
That's actually good to know. That's interesting.
I'm not mad at either of them. Like JTT's probably like, if you look at him, you're like, I want that guy. And so if Brad does that, he's like, okay, we can develop, even though he's not so much of a developed type of guy. Like I'd be happy with both.
I feel like they both make an impact instantly, right?
And you need winners. Get some winners.
Both solid against the run too.
Yeah, love that.
But Jack came up with the biggest plays when they needed it.
He's just, it sounds stupid. Jack's got more of that dog in him. That's why I like him more. Like he's just got more of a motor.
Booner, care to comment?
No, I mean I don't. Listen, I've commented on Jack Sawyer.
No, I'm just.
And what you got to understand, and as well as like I'm not deleting tweets, but like
it's the heat of the battle.
Like it was between the lines. Jack went and grabbed our flag, and I'm sure like if he comes to Detroit, like dude, you grabbed our flag. I'm gonna say how annoying you are and how much I hate you in that moment. After that, no, I mean if you're in the draft, like I said it instantly after they won the national championship. I think I text Clock separately. Just, between him and I said,
man to man,
right, I'm in on Jack Sawyer now. Now that the season's over, I'm in officially. Like, there was a battle. That's what we were rivals. Now we're potentially not anymore. Now, if he goes like Chicago or something, he's the worst football player of all time. I hate him still.
Yeah, with that. Yeah.
But I mean, besides that, if he's in Detroit, dude, I'm all in on him. He's a good football player. Like even versus Michigan, like Michigan had a chance to score a touchdown on like the 4-yard line. Like we're about to punch the ball in for a touchdown to win the game. And it's like, oh my gosh, Michigan's about to win this football game. And then it's like, boom, Jack Sawyer gets an interception on the goal line, like their edge out of nowhere. Just he goes up and grabs it, and almost basically like if they should have won the game after that interception. Like he essentially sealed that game for them, and then somehow still lost. And then you see in the national championship game, he runs the one back. Like he just makes plays in time that matters. It reminds me, honestly, like I know people don't want to hear this. It reminds me of like how Aiden Hutchinson was in his last season at Michigan. Like the Ohio State game. The dude goes out there and gets like 3 or 4 sacks. And it was just like so timely, like very timely. And obviously TCU and all that, like there wasn't really much he could do in the final games of the season. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like just these timely moments where it's like someone who's a dog and a playmaker steps up and makes a play. That's what it feels like to me with Jack Sawyer. I just get that feeling.
Me of Boone.
He's a power guy too. So like everyone asks about that.
TJ Watt, yeah. I don't know if he's going to be that good, but yeah, man, dude. And
maybe like I'm trying to think.
Zach Allen.
Value. He's not going to be. No.
Zach Allen.
Zach Allen's like an inside guy.
That's Zach Allen.
He's like 75% of TJ Watt, I'd say. That's what I view him as.
Well, then you take him at 28. You take him. If he's gonna be
TJ Watt went at like 28.
Yeah, he's on 26, I think.
Yeah. So maybe it's a steal, dude.
He said
he's getting overlooked.
TJ Watt. I don't give a fuck if he's 69%. You draft him then. All right.
Yeah, Shifgott said they had him comp to Nick Bosa. Let him get in the league. Let him get a little bit more of a build. You know, like when you get in the NFL, remember Hutch? Hutch was big, but like remember year 1 to year 2, that transition, the man like came in and he looked like he was like Captain America. There's like let Jack Sawyer draft him, let him play his rookie year, but then that rookie year to that second year jump. Go work out with. Don't go back to Ohio State. They're not going to help you out. Go work out with Hutch in Plymouth. Go get some workouts in Plymouth with Hutch, and you'll come back looking like an absolute you'll really be like a Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I know people. Someone who said that. Shift God said they had him comped to Nick Bosa.
Jeff must not just heard anything I said there. That was how I started that convo.
No, I'm just saying. Shift God said it.
I
got giving him credit. He said he just commented it, but yeah, like. I don't think he's Nick Bosa. Like Nick
Bosa was a top 5 pick.
Yeah, but I love the motor.
High motor, easier to develop with the high motor.
And he has a mix of. He's just got that big play. He's always making big plays in big moments. That's personally something.
That's what it is, man.
Games. He shows up in big games. Forced fumble against Texas. Pick in the end zone.
Winner.
Yeah, he makes big plays. So I love that.
Get a couple national champions in your room. Hutch,
Come on now.
Sawyer,
and Taylor Decker, other Ohio State. So you got some other guys in that room. Bring back Okudah. Make it more.
I've been saying it. Bring him back. The redemption tour.
Imagine if Jeff Okudah came back and he was actually like a dog, dude. Like he was just like unbelievable.
I mean, if we're
makes
being
a Pro
real,
Bowl.
like Jack Sawyer, he might come off as like just a douche to Michigan fans, but he is a guy that, like, when you go into rival games in the division, I kind of want him on my side. Like, I want that.
Yeah,
dude.
I would hate him on the Vikings or something.
Yeah, I want that dude on the Lions when like shit hits the fan. Like,
sure.
you know, like Jack Sawyer's coming out. And, you know,
Ohio.
I mean, on the other side of it, like the Michigan fan, it's like, I hate this guy so much. Like, you're annoying, dude. But yeah, you're right. If Clancy loves the guy because he's at Ohio State. He's like, I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like, who grabs the flag? Like, who do you think you are? Like,
who are you, Jack Sawyer? Who are you? You know? You need
remember he was like, they planted the flag. Like, crying to Ryan Day. Like, okay, loser.
Ryan Day. I don't need to hear that name right now.
Shift gods.
Did you see the Michigan fan? That was unbelievable. And then the craziest thing is Ryan Day trying to be like, well, what happened after that? Like, buddy, we just won a natty. You really can't be like, we won a natty. Like, so did we just won one too. We've beat you 4 straight years and we just won a natty. Like, if I'm Ryan Day, you got to just put your head down and walk away. You can't say anything, dude.
Is he on roids?
Maybe.
Hey, he's a good football player. I don't care what you're doing off the field as long as you could produce. You'll be all right.
Michael says Sawyer is a piece of shit, but we should draft him. Oh,
well, yeah, that's all I feel, Mike.
Hey, that's aggressive.
Junkyard dog.
That's aggressive.
Try to get some dogs in the building. That's all.
Booner, it's like Booner. When you meet him, he'd be like,
hey. I don't think he's that big, dude. What is he, like 6'1"? I'm 5'10", 5'11".
No, he's 6'5", dude.
Oh, really?
He's
I
a
have
big
some friends
dude.
that are 6'5", dude. I don't care. Like, what's up, bro? I'd give him a little. What's up, my guy? I'm 4-0 against you.
Why'd you grab the flag, bro?
Who are you?
It would be cool. Maybe at the combine we get Jack Sawyer on. That would be something. We'll figure that out. That'll be a great interview. I'll sit right next to him. You know what I'll do? I'll wear like a Michigan shirt or something.
Be like, you're a piece of shit.
No, honestly, you know what would be really funny if we got him on? I would bring a Michigan flag. Like, I would just put it right between us. That would be unbelievable.
Yeah, don't even say anything.
Yeah, it's like you guys start the interview. I just walk in. You guys just leave one seat open right next to him, and I just come in right in the middle. Boom.
Plan it.
That'd be that's content.
Malik says mailbag missed a good chunk of the show, so I got
on
Shamar.
Got to go back and watch that, Malik. That was a good combo.
Yeah, it's a no on that, Malik. We talked about it around 8:30. So about 30 or so minutes into the show. Not a huge fan. Understand all the upside.
Production.
Yeah.
What's the word that they used for him?
Get the gamble.
Gamble. It's a gamble.
But what was it, like? Height, weight, speed, HWS or something?
Yeah,
like
HWS gamble.
Yeah.
You got to spell out an acronym to try to sway me. No way.
Yeah.
4.5 sacks in 3 years is ridiculous.
Trying to win a Super Bowl now. I'm not trying to wait for him. Hey, maybe he works. Maybe he's a good gamble. I'm good.
Shout out to Marco. Interview with him comes out tomorrow on his channel. We talked to him about building a YouTube channel, kind of what went behind building Crunch Time Sports. So a lot of insight there for anyone that's looking to make content. It's on Marco's channel. So
for a second, I was like, I wonder who he interviewed. I was on there.
No, it was awesome, man. Shout out to Marco.
Talk some golf. Love talking golf.
But he says, what are you talking about tomorrow, Jeff? Well, buddy, tomorrow we're going to get into more Lions and more Detroit sports.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't know. What would you like me to talk about, buddy? You comment. What would you like me to talk about? Corey Hall says, I want Kenneth Grant at 28.
I feel like they need to get like an edge, fellas. like an actual.
Yeah, you have to. There's no other choice. You have DJ Reader and Aleem, and you
like
have
trade up. Just
Makai.
trade up and go get one of the guys like that. You've trade up to what? 2 out of the last 3 years.
No, three of his 4 drafts he's traded up in the first. Hey, you guys were on Bleacher Report today, right?
Yep.
Was this you guys?
No.
No.
You sure?
No, we didn't even talk about.
Oh no, Jeff did say that.
Jeff, you were the guy on Bleacher Report calling.
Yeah, we were talking about the John Morton signing, and he was like, Dan Campbell's a bitch. He's a crybaby. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh no.
I mean,
you're hurting my name at that point. Like that's the Booner Pat that's getting thrown around.
Jeff, what say you? What say you to those allegations?
Well, Shane, I can confirm I did not do that. I want to know now who on Bleacher, like what fan base. That's important. Probably an NFC North team. You know, I don't know who did that, but
Jeff's like on the Bears Bleacher Report as well. You open up.
He's doing both. We just don't
a bunch
know.
of Bills or Bears propaganda.
He's got like a mask on, like a realistic mask.
I mean, Michael says, Jeff, can you talk about making babies and doing blow tomorrow? Well, that's okay. You know.
Hey, all seriousness too, boys. I guess that's not really a serious. I'll wait till it's the right time. Bad timing for me. I'll just wait a little bit.
I think I know what you were gonna bring
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
If it was, I was like, Booner.
I'm gonna wait a minute. I'll just give me about 30 seconds. I'll get serious. I'll bring it up. All right, I'll just wait till tomorrow.
Go ahead, read it, Booner.
What?
Steven says,
Oh, a
Mailbag,
comment?
how much cocaine was Jeff on to say that about MCDC on VR?
Klotz.
Boom.
What were you talking about?
What are you guys? What is going on, dude?
Booner, I think, is rattled again. We've reached another ending of the show where Booner has been rattled.
No, dude, I was gonna say it with all seriousness. The thing that happened last night, I texted you boys about it like late night, like RIP to them. Like that's such a terrible situation, dude. Like it was like the first commercial flight in like 15 years to crash. Like, I was just like, I wanted to just give my condolences to the people. I hate tragedies like that. It's just crazy. I was up until like 1 a.m. like watching, seeing what was getting updates. It's just crazy to me, that stuff. Yeah. That's on me. My bad. I just wanted to say condolences to all the families and the people. That's a lot of people, dude. 64, 67 people. That's like, I think it was like the biggest tragedy like that with aircraft since 9/11, if I read it correctly. Like that's huge. Like that's not good what happened. Yeah.
I need to look more into it. I still don't completely understand like how the Black Hawk crashed.
I don't think anyone does, dude. It was just they were
like
they were crossing paths.
Landing. Like
plane was coming down the Black Hawk. I mean, it's in DC, so there's like helicopters that are low constantly because there's all the army bases, and there's Black Hawks all the time. Like the White House, they have like helicopters that land in there that take the president and like major political people and higher up generals and stuff. They fly in helicopters around DC to get from bases and stuff. So there was one that was crossing the airfield from a base. It's like I guess it's a pretty routine route that those helicopters take. That's just terrible, man. Whoever was controlling, I don't know. I don't want to put blame on anyone, but obviously
it's about the victims.
The communication was off, and they hit the plane. I think it was a normal path for both aircrafts. It just the timing of it. Someone messed it up or something happened. Not good. It's tough, dude. It's sad, dude. That's so many, dude. I was thinking about it last night. 67 people. That's 67 families, dude. Like that's crazy. That's so sad.
67 generations, man.
Yeah, that's sad, dude. Like that's so many people.
Yeah. Oh well.
I didn't mean for that to get deep.
You know what?
I wanted to say condolences. That's all. I thought it was the right thing to do. It's tough, man.
What are we gonna do, huh?
Dude, condolences, man. Like,
I know.
Prayers up to their families.
I know. Condolences, prayers, thoughts.
We'll be back tomorrow. Big show tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Appreciate you all as always. Great show today. Shout out to Eric, and Steven, way to end on a high note, Boone.
I'm sorry, Steven. Hey,
no, it's all good.
Sometimes gotta be honest in the world. You gotta have these conversations you don't want to have, right?
Yeah,
have to have them.
Hey, that's what Rogan's for. All right.
Hey, who says I can't be Joe Rogan? Who says I can't be Joe Rogan?
That's what the almighty Joe Rogan.
Clip that. Make that an audio clip for the show.
I thought he just booked. Sorry, this dude thought he
thought he
bar for bar. Who said I can't be Joe Rogan? Clip that. Clip that.
That's a new audio clip.
All right, we'll get out of here.
Boone just had his Duval. That was Boone's Duval.
That was me, dude. I'm gonna start thinking of some funny audio clips that we can just have on deck. The Joe Rogan one, I'm clipping. We're taking that.
Yeah, Joe Rogan talking about Elon Musk for the 1,000th time. He just loves Elon Musk. All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate you all. Catch you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Until then, you guys have a great night. Peace.